and fix my camera.
Absolutely.
Oh shit, what did I...
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of WhickTV.
Welcome to Plug Talk.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. Well, actually, I should ask, because I got struck for this recently. Is anyone here banned on Twitch?
Me.
Thank
Not
God.
yet.
Okay, great. Now we can proceed. Okay. Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of WhickTV, a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. Today we got a show for you. I will say that this one almost didn't happen. We almost did not have a show, but I want to extend my gratitude to the people who were willing to step up last minute to fill in. So Fairyqueen, Kimi, is that how you say it, Kimi?
Yeah.
Yep. And 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙, thank you for being willing to step in. And Xena, thank you for attending as well. I really appreciate you. Because we got a pretty heavy topic today. We're going to be talking about mental health in the content creation space. How being a streamer, how being a public figure, how interacting with other people in the space can affect you in ways both positive and negative. And so I've assembled a team, gang, and we're going to talk about it today. So I guess the first question, how's everyone doing today? Everyone doing good?
Doing good.
Right?
I'm having a great day.
A great day. Xena, how are you?
I'm having a normal Xena day.
A normal Xena day. Did you so you were telling me that you had a legal thing. Are you okay to talk about that? Well,
I mean, yeah, I got thrown out, so he didn't show up.
Tell us the story. I'm curious.
I don't want to really dive into it just because I don't want him getting triggered again and going and making up lies again to go to the courtroom and acting like somebody's stalking him. I really don't give a fuck about this guy, but a recent ex that I had, that really wasn't even my ex, like whatever, a Chinese black guy, whatever the fuck he is, Muslim, the Muslim grifter, went and got a domestic injunction and said we were, like, literally in the report, actually, since it got thrown out, I actually can. Hold on. It literally says, in the claim, it says crazy shit. Like, it says I was outside his house with a knife on, like, September 28th or something like that. Yeah, on the 28th. I was in fucking Arizona with Darius. Like, it's just weird stuff that he claims that I did, and that I was stalking him with a knife and going to fuck up his car. And it's like, there's cameras everywhere. Why can't you just place me here? And then it also says, mind you, all this, I never dated this girl. But in this report here, it says that we dated for fucking 7 months. And it's like, mind you, he added time to it too, because he said we started dating in November. I didn't fucking even know this dude until like December. But like, I don't know, whatever. I know he was fantasizing about me since he met me, but it's like, it's just weird. Like, this whole thing is like, it's just, all of it's just weird.
It got thrown out though,
apparently,
right?
legally and officially, we dated for 7 months now, guys. All that exposed and all that talk of shit, all that Destiny exposing nigga, for him to turn around and go to the courtroom and get a domestic injunction and be like, oh, we dated for 7 months. And you know what? Guess what? No, we didn't. I have never had sexual relations with that man. I don't know that man. I knew him on a podcast. No, never met, never hung out with, no, I never dated that man. So if he wants to get a thing again, can you prove that we dated? Because I don't think you can, sir. We didn't. So yeah. Anyway, just for him to legally go say we dated, it was just a bullshit, dumbass, whatever. And then made all these claims and stuff. And like, even my lawyer, because I had lawyers. That's another thing. He didn't even get lawyers. I literally had 2 lawyers. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And I was telling my lawyer about it, and he's just like, this shit is fucking retarded. Like, you can't prove that any of this, especially if you were in Arizona. I'm just like, dude, it's retarded. But that's what happened. It got thrown out. He didn't show up. And again, he didn't have lawyers because nobody was representing him. So, case just got thrown out.
Rezzi, go ahead.
What? I don't know anything about this.
I don't either. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, so this is probably really bad internet engagement. Is like the first part. This is probably what leads to bad mental health on the internet. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I knew that she had a court thing. I didn't know what it. Okay, fair enough. Um, I think that this is kind of indicative of when things go wrong, right? Because I think we can all acknowledge going to court over internet interactions is probably super unhealthy. Something has gone wrong at some point when someone is bringing a case against you for stuff that's happened, right? Based on internet shit. Um, is this like I've never had anyone come at like I've had some issues. One of the reasons I wanted to do this topic is because I've had personally some issues online, right? Like I've struggled with some mental health issues on the internet space and how people are interacting with me, how it's bothered me, etc. And go ahead, Xena.
No, keep talking. I'm just pointing at this anime thing for my stream. My bad.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, okay, I want to interject, but yeah, but I've never had anyone take me to court, over any of this. But I guess let's start by, I guess, what Fairyqueen. We'll start with you, right? You're pretty new to this space. You're pretty fresh, right? What has been the hardest part, mentally, of being in this space and coming and interacting online with other people and things?
Really tough question. So I'm going to try to answer it quickly because I know we have a panel to get through, right? I think probably the most difficult thing for me. So I usually am on Discord every single day. One of the things that I know is because I talk to all of these people every single day is it seems that we bond and we make really strong connections unusually fast, right? In a way that I do not think is typical in an offline friendship, right? So over the past few months, I've gotten to know a lot of these people really, really well, and I've known them every single. Like we speak for hours every single day. I've met people to date off of this site. Part of what's been the most difficult has been I guess the revolving door nature, right? So people will sometimes be in a space for a while and then they will leave, right? Another aspect I think that's been really difficult is there have been people who I have really trusted who have admitted to me that they have mental health problems, people who not everyone was appreciated their presence in the space, but I chose to be friends with them and I chose to trust them and to invest with them. And later on, they eventually had an episode and they wound up leaving the space. And so there are some friendships that have ended because of situations like that. And that's made me really sad. It also makes me sad because I guess many of the friendships and the relationships that I've had, if I try to talk to my mom or to people offline, they'll tell me that it isn't real, right? That this is just an online Discord thing, right? And that it's bullshit, right? And that I'm just making everything up, right? And I don't know, like it sort of delegitimizes. Like I've met some of these people in person. Like we've talked about mailing presents to people, like who I've met in these spaces, right? Like I don't know, like there's something, I guess, for me, very invalidating about meeting all of these people and spending so much time with them and investing so much in them, right? And yet, if I go and talk to my parents or if I talk to other in real life friends about how great it's been for me, really, to basically have it sneered at, right? As though it was something lesser than, or as there was something wrong with me because I like being in these spaces. So I guess that would be a part that's hard. So losing people, knowing like who to trust, like how fast everything gets can be overwhelming. And three, I guess the fact that people view the friendships and relationships that I've had and that I have in these spaces as illegitimate and as basic as, so there you go.
Oh, that's thank you for sharing. That's quite a list. Anyone else feel the same way, right? With when it regards to the legitimacy, do we think that the people we meet and the friends and the connections we make on here are quote unquote legitimate? What do we think about that?
Yeah, 100%. I've met a lot of people that I've talked to on Twitch in real life. And I've spent way too much time with a lot of these people to pretend like they are just instead some like, humanistic droid. The amount of time I've spent with people like Claw and Clint1717 have made me grow to appreciate all the drama that I see happen like all over here. I think Xena's probably the only one that's like, yeah, like you're talking Wick, you're talking about no legal shit. Legal documents are just like kind of were a normal thing for a long time. Haven't had that shit in a while. It's been really great. Other than like getting Clint out of jail last year after his ex called the cops to say that he had a gun and was threatening her in Texas in an attempt to get him. Anyways, so yeah, like honestly, most of the stuff that happens in this area, I'm just like, yeah, this is like most of the time it's normal. Like Xena's thing sounds crazy. I think that like yeah, you have a lot of people who are very dejected from society that go ahead and like flock to these platforms in the first place. I think that that dejection is something that is why we see a lot of people kind of have like a higher amount of mental instability, so to speak, within the streamer sphere. Because I think a lot of people come to these places because they're like, all right, well, this other place didn't work out, real life or whatever, so I'm going to come here, do socialization here. And I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. I don't think that that's a bad thing or a good thing at all. I just think it's a thing that we need to acknowledge. But I think it does actually kind of belie most of the reason why these spaces can be very difficult for people who get overly emotionally invested in other people. So
has mental like you've been streaming in a while, Rezzi, right?
Yeah.
100%. Do you think it's
Oh yeah, my mental it gets bad, it gets worse.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, yeah, 100%. Right now, I am at a point where I'm just like, yeah, I kind of get it, and I'm just doing the thing, and that's fine. That's it. Like I get it, and I'm doing the thing, and I'm kind of just happy. I've been happy for the first time in my life, I think, for like the last couple of months. And I'm not saying it's because streaming is just like has become mostly a creative outlet for me rather than something that is a social concept, right? Even though there is like some sociality and I do make fun of people in the chat, even people that show up new and do meet new people online. But it's not like the main course. I think I've kind of figured out like that balance and it's great. And I don't think that that balance is necessarily something to say like, yeah, you just need to log off. Like, I think you can have real relationships with people online, but it's few and far between.
Hannah or Kimi, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I mean, I kind of agree with what Rezzi and Fairyqueen has said so far, honestly. Yeah, one of the hard things that I've struggled with is also like I have very normie friends, I call them. Like very normie friends that just are not online at all. Like they don't have Twitter, they don't have Instagram, they don't have social media, and they just don't really understand it. Like they kind of think I'm weird almost for like when I talk about like, oh, my Discord friends or like, oh, my online friends. And it's almost like a sense of like it's not really legitimate.
No, I get that.
That yeah, they're not like real friends. Almost. Yeah, and that's difficult.
No, it can be. It can be very difficult. I want to toss it back to Xena for a minute. And Xena, right, when it comes to like all the stuff you've gone through of late, right? I don't know. Like I know these other people much better than I know you. So forgive me if I'm pushing or something or hitting a sore spot or anything like that. Do you find that people does your online interactions with people, how has it affected your real life interactions, your real life relationships with people like your parents or etc.? Like, do you think that it's negatively influenced it, positively influenced it, or what?
Not at all. Like family wise, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
people that I deal with day to day, like my actual family and close friends that actually know me that like literally call me by my real name and not Xena, it hasn't affected anything in my real life at all.
Really?
Like it doesn't even like what I do on the internet doesn't even affect my probation because like I obviously have the rundown of the stipulations of what I know I can and cannot do. Like even things I could say like, oh, I'll shoot that nigga. Like I know on the internet you can say things as long as you don't make action to do it. And like that's where the violations come in. So yeah, no, the internet hasn't affected my personal relationships with people because I think my family and close friends that know me, they know when I'm on the internet spazzing out most of the time, like while contrary to popular belief, most of the time I just take vids too far. Like I just take the content way too fucking far to make it believable. Otherwise it's just not entertaining.
So the stuff's like a bit because I will say I saw some of your content the other night. Um, it was a little concerning. Was that a bit?
Well, you have to elaborate.
Okay, well, you made some comments. And I believe you went and you started driving and you seemed inebriated. Um,
I have never ever drank and drive.
okay,
Drink and drink.
sure.
Nope. I see, that's what I'm saying. I take it a little too far because people are so dumb they thought I would go drink and drive. Like when I went, it was my sister's birthday, so I went all the way to West Palm, and because I was driving, first of all, my family's not even going to let me drink alcohol knowing that I have to drive back to Miami. Not one shot. But I did put a Red Bull can in a paper bag and I drank it on the street because people were like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, but you can see how that might be concerning to people, though, right? Like you can see how my people
going like this and acting crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, like I said, I don't know you, and I think most people online don't know you, right? So it can be a thing. Like, do you think that do you think that encourages other people who may not know it's a bit though to like kind of imitate that behavior? Maybe do you
No,
think it'll?
I don't think so because a lot of people mainly they just be like, please don't do this again, and like it's kind of cute because I'm like, oh, you care, but and then I'll just tell them like I didn't really fucking do it. Like when I'm drinking, I stay in my house and like they'll see me chug my bottle down. Those streams are real when I'm crying and getting drunk. I mean, those streams are obviously real. I have a bottle, like they can watch the liquid go down my throat. There's no faking that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I
drinking.
guess. Oh, go on.
I was just saying, like the drinking and driving. Like I didn't even back then. Like when I would smoke weed, I didn't even like to smoke weed and drive. Like it's the only thing I've ever done intoxicated driving is shrooms, which I know is probably worse than weed.
That's not better. I I guess
Not good.
Yeah,
For me,
like I see. So Xena, I see you fight people all the time online, like all the time. I think the initial introduction I had to you was you were fighting I think 𝕵𝖎𝖎 online.
Everybody fights
Yeah,
Zerka, though, to
everyone
be
fights
fair.
𝕵𝖎𝖎, right? And that's fair.
no, it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been. I think no.
Was it not? It could be misremembering. This
Yeah,
was a
no,
while
I
ago.
haven't fought Zerka online. Like the only fighting I've been doing with Zerka recently, and it's not even online, except me saying I don't fuck with you, nigga. But like we still in each other. Like I still help him. Like he hits me up, hey,
Okay.
I need you to do this, and I still do it. But like he knows, like I fucking can't stand you, and he can't stand me either. It's like a
That's fair.
weird, estranged sibling bond.
Yeah, that's
Sounds about Zerka, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
this is the thing though, right? Like I see you like having these interactions and it's hard for me to tell um how much of that is real and how much of that is, as you say, just a bit. Do you think that have you felt that while doing a have you ever done a bit by being angry at someone or going at someone and then realized at a certain point that the person that you were going at didn't know it was a bit and it caused some tension, right? What can you tell us about that a little bit?
Um, I don't know if I should really get into that.
I mean, it's up to you. If you don't feel comfortable,
There's been situations where I've not necessarily actually been too bothered about something that my very recent lovely ex has done, and because he was streaming, I was like, you know what? You're his chat so schizo and DGG so schizo. I might as well be the crazy Xena because they always meme, she's gonna stab him, she's gonna stab him. So I'd like turn up and start an argument, and then the argument would then become real because then he's reacting, not realizing I'm literally just acting, and then he'll say or do something, and then next thing you know, it becomes real because now I'm reacting off his reaction, and then it became toxic. So that was a problem that I had.
would
That
that
was
have
not.
not been a problem had you not been like had the because what it sounds to me like you're saying is that the fact that there's a live audience for this has really driven a lot of these behaviors, right? Like it's you reacting to his reaction, right? Like because there's a live audience that's reacting to this. So I guess do you think if you weren't a content creator, would we be having the same discussions and having the same problem? I don't know.
No, I don't think
Okay.
so, honestly, because if I was more like, I think, yeah, no, because if like things, for example, let's go back to the thing I just said, like relationship, if everything had been offline and I was like a normal person working a normal job and he was normal working a normal job, I don't think things would have gotten as toxic as they were because there wouldn't have been such input from all these different social circles that we collect, like Destiny's input, DGG, and other friends and things like that. Everybody putting their input that kind of affected the way that I would view things and react. And, you know, it added unnecessary stress that technically I should just learn how to, okay, if they say that, that's them, like take it by, what's it called, face value. But like obviously on a regular, like normal life, I don't think it would be the same at all.
What about the rest of you? Like, have you ever felt like your interactions with people online have been exacerbated by there being a live audience to kind of egg you on? Because I could tell examples of me having an argument with someone or me having an interaction with someone that was made infinitely worse because you have people online, right, who will view this and they'll act like little content gremlins, like, right, they'll go into other people's DMs. It's like, oh, did you hear what Wick was saying about you, right? Did you hear Wick talking shit about you on this
Yeah.
stream, right? And then just kind of it feeds itself, right? It feeds itself into this massive thing. Anyone else want to talk about their experience with? No, Rezzi, are you shaking your head? This never happens, right?
I actually don't really think this has ever happened to me. And like
Never?
I'm listening to it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? It's like I don't know. I feel like I just get to watch everybody else get set on fire by other people, and every once in a while, it's like the people that like get angry at me. I'm just like, yeah, I don't give a shit what you think, anyways. And then I just completely ignore them and I move on with my life. So like, yeah, I don't think this has actually happened to me, legitimately.
Really? Okay. What
Yeah, I
about
mean,
you?
like,
Well,
yeah,
that's
sorry.
cool. That's good for you though, Rezzy. That's
Yeah,
good. It's good to be like that. It's
yeah. I
healthy.
just kind of, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for me, like I've definitely been known to like get baited and stuff by like audiences. I definitely have been very like there was a time when I was very vulnerable to being baited. I of course I'm not really like that anymore, ever since my depression meds. The depression meds helped. But like, yeah, when the audience has like tried to like stir up drama and stuff, yeah, that's definitely gotten to me.
It's hard. How do we? So meds helped with you, but
Yeah.
what were some other kind of ways you've used to kind of mitigate that, if any, right? Or was there any kind of techniques that you've implemented to stop yourself from getting one guide or baited or anything like that?
Honestly, talking with my therapist helped, of course, but honestly, like, I sort of don't really care much anymore, I guess. Which is like not really a technique, you know? It just kind of happened. Um,
Well, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
fair, right?
you just
So
get thicker skin. That's the thing.
just got thicker
Eventually,
skin.
yeah, like I mean,
yeah.
this is the thing. At one point, yes, shit bothered me. I never got stirred up by an audience, but now I'm just like, oh, my audience is talking shit that this person's saying a thing. I'm like, give me a clip, and I don't give a shit. I move on, and I'm like, I'm going on my fucking path. I'm going down what I want to do, and fuck them. All right, they can like eat shit. All right, give me a fucking link, give me proof, or move on. That's it. The audience is stupid. They are literally the dumbest in the world. Every audience is extremely dumb. You have to hold them by the hand and walk them along like kindergartners half the time, right? So treat them with hostility, and you will never be angry ever again.
Good
I mean, that's one way
advice,
to
I
handle it,
suppose.
I suppose.
There's
Yeah,
one way.
yeah, and because that's it. Like, if you don't, that's how you get baited. Is you're just like, yeah, this is just dumb. Like, I'm just gonna have like Wick. Okay, you were the first before you went on the full anti-Semitism mark. I'm like, hey, I got a problem with something you said. Brought you on stream. We talked for like an hour. We had a good conversation, and that was it. Every time we've had a problem, we just talk for like 20 minutes, and we're good. That's it. I just talk to people directly. That's it. You know.
I don't know. Well, that's kind of one of the reasons. Like, I wish we had our guest list today, right? And no offense
Mhm.
to the newcomers, right? But I was
Oh,
like,
you're
okay,
fine.
I want to
Am
talk
I
to.
the only one mentally ill?
Uh,
No.
I don't think so. I could be wrong,
No.
but no, we all have struggles, I think. I'm pretty
Yeah.
normy, but I
Mhm.
don't know if the rest of you are comfortable sharing your issues or not. Um,
I guess I can, since I'm probably the least known. I've been to therapy before for depression and for anxiety. I was diagnosed this past May as being on the autism spectrum. And so I guess that would be my answer.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't want anyone to have to hash out like, oh, here's
you're
all the
good.
problems with me. So
Yeah, chronic depression my entire life. It never leaves me, no matter what I do. I just have learned how to live with it. I used to be medicated, a little bit less medicated now. Everything's a little bit more in color. There's other stuff that could be there, but it's like, yeah, most of the shit, totally fine. You know, it's just managed.
Mm.
A lot of meditation.
what are some of the ways, because we talked about some of the ways. Oh, go on.
Wick, not to derail, but my chat is saying, have you ever washed your hoodie?
Yes, I wash it every week. It's a costume, okay? It's
I
a
don't know.
costume. No, you can derail. That's fine. Look, you can't. Yeah,
They just kept asking, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll ask.
look, it's my uniform. It's like we all have gimmicks, okay? And this is one. Wick the Wizard, and it's cold out, so you know I live in a pretty cold state, so it is what it is. Question then for the for your audience, Xena. If they're gonna ask me questions, I'm gonna ask them questions.
Well, it was DGG. It wasn't really my audience. It wasn't my chat, my personal kick chat. It was DGG.
Okay, well, DGG, let me ask
Tell
you.
GGG I say hi.
Yeah, Anna says
love
hi.
I'm not getting involved in anything. I am not getting involved in anything.
Does DGG feel like they've added or helped people's mental stability, or has DGG? Well, let's talk about DGG then. Fine, fuck it.
No, yes, you can. And I'll say this. I actually will credit them because I was very adamant about how therapy fucked me up before and I didn't ever want to go back or any of that or get help. And due to DGG and the bullshit that they fucking caused, because they introduced me to the love of my life, turned into chaos because of my mental illness and his. But now I get therapy and I'm getting help. So I will credit that to DGG. Plus, I got to meet the right person, wrong time, but, you know. So they get props for that. They do help some people. It's just
that seems like an accidental help though, right? That seems like they did a thing and then you, because of that thing, got help. But I don't know. Was DGG intending?
Red Pill podcast, DGG was adamantly trying to get me out of the Red Pill space for like months. Like they would make Reddit posts, things like that. I'd have some people even hit me up, reach out to me, whatever, and they'd try to like conform my mind, like, you know, you're not worthless because you have OnlyFans. They're fucking lying to you. Like they do stuff like that, and like I don't know, they've been kind of like influencing me to take a better path. I think it's a batshit community. No matter, all communities are fucking crazy, batshit psycho. But out of them, I would say there's a few roses. Like there's at least a rose garden in that fucking battlefield. There's a rose
garden in that battlefield.
I think that's a really good point, actually, because oftentimes when we talk about this space, we usually talk about its negative impact on streamers and on the users who go into these spaces on their mental health, right? But I know a lot of people who flock to these spaces. I mean, as Rezzi said earlier, it's because they are experiencing problems in their everyday life, right? And they come to these spaces as a relief. Like I know people that felt very this is true for even for me, right? You felt very lonely, you feel very worried, like you're struggling in your personal life. Like currently, like where I'm working, where I'm living is like over 1,000 miles away from my family and from all of my friends who I went to high school with and who I've had for a very long time, right? So I'm very isolated in this space where I am right now, right? So having a space, being able to log into Discord and being able to talk to people online, right, is a huge benefit for me. And I'm not the only one. Like I've spoken to a lot of people who have found a great deal of relief and have found improvements, in a sense, to their mental health because they have access to this.
Do you think maybe that this is simply to steel man the other side a little bit, that's simply a crutch? That because you have these empty calories of these online friends or whatnot, it kind of prevents you from seeking more to be connected to the space around you, even, right? Like you said you felt isolated because you're 1,000 miles from anyone you know, but you're able to go online and talk to people, and you don't have to meet anyone there, right? You don't have to deal with anyone there. Is that healthy though?
I'll grant you it's unorthodox. I don't think it's necessary. So it can be that, and I think it might be for some people. For me personally, I don't think that it has been. And so, and I'll tell you why. So in these spaces, more people are open about being on the spectrum. More people are open about having ADHD. Oftentimes in a really weird way. It's so odd. Like whenever you go into any of these voice chats, right, you can't see the person's face and everyone lies about their real name, their real location, and who they really are in real life, right? But because of the fact that there is that visage, right, you're actually able to speak to people in a more intimate and more emotionally interesting way than you are with people in real life when you immediately meet with them, right?
Yep.
Because of the fact that you don't know, they won't tell you what their real name is.
There's a really good reason. There's a really good reason that we don't just open up automatically to people that we meet in real life. It's because that's, I think, an unhealthy way to engage with people, at least initially. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think, Anna? What's your read on this?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, I was kind of spacing out a little bit.
Oh no, are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm sorry. I was like in and out, paying attention. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Oh no. Rezzi, what do you think?
Yeah, I just had a coughing fit, and I would also probably do the same thing, but I'm gonna bullshit my way into it.
God damn, you guys not listening to me? Am I just talking?
Understand that, like, I know what you're saying. No, you're just wrong. Yeah, we don't share intimate details about our lives when we first meet people. We build levels of trust because by having levels of trust, we're able to differentiate our ability to have relationships. This is what develops parasociality. It's actually, I think that is actually probably the worst thing about internet relationship stuff is that, yeah, there is some nameless, anonymous, whatever, right? But you're not really nameless. You will get found out who you are, as Wick knows when I bodied him in a doxing debate. Doxing will happen to you eventually, right? No matter what you do, right? So yeah, being super intimate immediately is bad. And that's not like, that's something people in real life do too. It's oversharing. And these can be parts of like ill socialization to begin with. I don't think that this is actually a good thing to begin with. I think the depths of relationships you can get to somebody that you write letters to, sure, maybe there's something more about that long form communication rather than like that like kind of like little frisson that you have with somebody that you go out and get drinks with as like a friend. But I don't know if I agree that like necessarily being able to have that anonymity is actually good, especially because you really can't consider anything anonymous to begin with.
If I can just, I should probably like put some benchmarks around this. Like, I'm not saying that you should be immediately overshare everything about yourself when you meet a new person. Like, obviously, that would be, that's a bad thing to do, right? But what I am saying is like, it is very lonely and very difficult, at least for me, to find other people in real life who are also really
you
into
can rack up the
politics,
hours online real quick, you know, to make like a real friendship out of something. You know, how many hours does it take to make a friendship with somebody, you think?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like, I don't know. Like,
You can begin bonding with someone as early as 10 minutes. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
it'll be a great bond, but as early as 10 minutes, you can like start vibing with somebody. The chemicals can start flowing, and you can start building a friendship within the first 10 minutes. Same as like sexual attraction. A woman knows when she wants to fuck a guy within the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of the same.
oh, I'm sorry. I think what I'm just saying is like, I think for me, like just some very specific things about me, like really loving gaming, like liking being in an online space, right? Liking politics, you know, like again, as I mentioned, being on the spectrum. These are not things that are easy for me to find other people to talk to in real life. It's hard for me to find other people like that who have those similar interests, who want to talk about these similar things, right? And in part, the reason, so that's another reason, like why I personally like being in these spaces is because it's easier for me to find people who have mutual interests. Is that not fair to say?
It's
like,
fair to say.
It's fair if you have
It's
interests.
definitely easier to find like-minded people through the internet because you can find people in multiple different cities and states like in an instantaneously versus like if we're living in one small town. Like I grew up in Akron, Ohio. I'm more than likely and didn't find people that were heavily into anime and rock music and, you know, spirituality or the occult, versus getting on the internet, you find somebody that's in New York, somebody that's in fucking Yugoslavia or Romania or whatever, and they're into the same shit as you. So I think the internet does make it kind of instantaneous.
But that can be bad. I'll give you the toaster fucker example. Okay, so before the
What?
internet, hear me out. Before the internet, right? You're like, I think I want to fuck a toaster, and everyone around you would be, that's weird. Don't do that. You should probably not be into that. And people are like, oh, sure, yeah, okay, fair. Online, you know what? I think I want to fuck a toaster. And suddenly you have 10,000 like-minded people you can reach out that will reinforce and encourage this behavior in you. Like, oh, you like toaster fucking too? I love toaster fucking. What's your favorite toaster to fuck? And that is, I feel, an unhealthy thing. That is not good. That is not something we should encourage.
Are you posturing to a vocal minority right now as like an existing force, Wick? With like the toaster fuckers are the vocal minority here.
No, I'm saying that
like, fuck that toaster.
You will be reinforced in all your weirdness in a way that you aren't offline, and I don't think that's always good. I think that sometimes can be very, very bad.
Okay,
yeah. But there's pros and cons, like in
What's
life.
What's the pros and cons to toaster fucking, Xena?
Well, okay. Well, the pros of toaster fucking is, I guess, if you want to fuck a toaster and it satisfies you, you're not harming anybody. Versus now, a con would be finding the pedophile internet, where people gang up together and they're all pedophiles. Now that is harmful and that is disgusting. But you could do that in real life too.
I don't know. I think it's harder in real life. But I don't know. I've never tried to meet with pedophiles, so I don't know. Right? I will
What do you think goes on at Chuck E. Cheese? All them clowns and shit. They're all pedophiles.
Okay. Okay. Rezzi, you probably know more about this than I do. Go ahead.
About what? Toaster fucking or pedophiles?
Either one.
Because, like, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know a lot about either of them, to be honest with you. Like, I think that, like, when it comes to, like, finding people that have similar social interests as you online, that's something you absolutely can do well. I feel like this is why I've always used the internet as, like, kind of like a peering hole where I just go and kind of find weird shit, right? So I don't really have things I'm necessarily interested in more than other things. I have like a lot of them. And I think that the internet has allowed me to embrace this, like, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to look at all those things. So I just talk to a lot of weirdos, right? Like from all over, right? And this is me getting the conversation back on track with it. But at least I think that's like, I don't know. I just meet people. I just talk to people normal like I do in real life, right? And that's like, I think the same thing I do here, you know, it's just like about the same. I think it takes me longer to trust internet friends, dude. Because I do think internet people, it gets weird sometimes, dude. I've had like, I had a chick like literally threaten to like send a gang to my house after doxing me or some shit. And I'm just like, okay. And that was just like that's just something you have to do every once in a while, right? Like, and now I don't ever have to do that again because I don't trust people immediately on the internet. You know?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. It's harder for me to trust people online as well, just because I don't know. Could be anybody.
Kind of equal, but then I guess I would only go off my own anecdotal because, like, I mean, it wasn't online people that snitched on me and put me in prison. It was people that were very close to me that lived with me for years. So it's like, I think it just depends on the type of people you're surrounding yourself with. And if you're building and choosing your type of community and building like-minded people in a healthy sense, I guess, you can have a pretty decent community. There's always going to be weirdos. There's always going to be haters in real life and on the internet. So
is it easier to, and I'm curious what the answer, I don't actually know. Is it easier to identify people with issues or people who will hurt you online or offline? For me personally, and I don't know if this is just me being weird, I have an easier time reading people online. Like, I will have beef with people offline, or online, I should say, but then when I talk to them offline, oh, okay, we're talking, we're face to face, we're vibing. Okay, I get it. Beef closed. I think it's harder, at least personally for me, to get a good read on someone if the interaction I have is online only.
Well,
is that an agreement, disagreement? What are we thinking?
I agree, but I also don't
Yeah.
give a shit. Like I don't really give a shit if somebody's like angry at me. I just move on because there's other people to talk to. That's like the internet, dude. There's a lot of people here, you know? Like I feel like that's the thing. Like you can't worry like in real life, no, there are people that are going to fucking harbor resentments against you in real life. They're going to plot against you at your job, plot against you at your work, plot against you in school. These people do exist. There are psychos in real life that will try to fuck with you because they fucking hate you, right? But you don't give a fuck about them unless they're actually threatening you. Then you get a gun, and that's it.
But those people
Like,
are very rare, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I feel like
And
the people that can cause harm to me are more likely going to be people from real life than on the internet. Because, like, the only
Yeah.
thing that's disclosed on the internet is what I choose to. And it does happen to be a lot that I disclose, but, like, I've been on the internet for years, and yet nobody still knows anything about my personal family, like, life at all. So they can't, like, whereas close friends do, and they can cause more harm, like, towards me and or my family. Whereas people on the internet, what can they do? Post my nudes, call me a whore, like, tell everybody I'm a felon. I mean, I tell people that, but, like, what can they really do?
I mean, I'll respond to your question, Wick. So, can you tell easier online if somebody's a weirdo as opposed to if you're offline? I would say probably it's easier for me online in these spaces, and I'll tell you why. One of the advantages of talking to somebody in a Discord or in these spaces, right, is that everything is recorded and there are logs of literally everything, right? So if somebody has a history of being a weirdo or of doing pulling shit, right, it's only a matter of time before everybody else finds out about that, right? Because at some point they're going to send a weird message, there's going to be logs, there's going to be some kind of proof, right? In real life, right? If a rumor starts spreading like around a community, like in real life, because everything is in an interaction, a face-to-face interaction and nothing, and it's quite literally not always recorded and not always like there, right? It is a lot easier to get away with pulling shit in real life, I think, right? I also think that, like, at least like based off of my in real life interactions, right? It's a lot harder to pay attention always to what's going on, right? Like in an online space, like I can literally read everything that you are saying on the page, right? I can just listen to your voice, right? But if I'm actually sitting physically in a room, I have to pay attention to how you're behaving, the looks that you're giving to the person next to you, what you ordered for dinner, right? Did you arrive late? Like that kind of thing. Like there are so many other things that I have to pay attention to, right? As opposed to just literally looking at completely like what the words say, like in black and white on the page, right? Which makes it easier to figure out whether or not somebody's being a
I think the
jackass or
converse
not.
to that is it's much easier to be deceptive online because you are control every single thing that you're presenting to the other person. Whereas offline, it's much harder to do that. You can give off unintentional signals about your true intentions as well as that. Also, when it comes to everything being documented, yes, but the documentation is often and is fake or misrepresented. I've had that happen a lot. We can look at some recent dramas where group chats were leaked, right? But selectively leaked and selectively shown to paint a very particular picture that was, it turns out, very deceptive. So if you are only going off those, it's easy to get like more certain of yourself because, oh, this is all documented. Whereas I think that the offline stuff, at least for me, it's much easier to identify harmful behaviors and red flags and etc. By interacting with them. It's not impossible to be deceived offline, obviously, right? It's just harder, at least for me. I pick up on more cues that way than I do online. But maybe that's a personal thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah,
I
I learned.
agree.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No,
You go.
don't
ahead.
apologize to Rezzi for talking over
Yeah,
Rezzi. Always be okay with talking over
I
Rezzi.
am
Go ahead,
okay
Anna.
with that.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I do agree with you, Wick. I think it's easier for people to be deceptive online, yeah, um, and less so in person. Additionally, this is because like in person, you can see their body language too. Like body language is really important, an aspect that's often missing from online context. I mean, I guess unless you use like a webcam and see a person, but even then, I don't know. It's just different. There's something different about it, and I feel like you just miss a lot of context and contextual cues and stuff that are important also.
Rezzi?
Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. So I had this was the thing. The only secret you have is the one you don't tell anybody. That's the first thing, right? So yeah, that's real life people. That's internet people. Period. Live by that, and you're good. Again, a step deep, like remove secrets from your life generally, right? If you possibly can, right? That's the way that I think people should live. So, but no, yeah, I don't think it's like easier to trust people in real life. I don't like think it's like necessarily I don't think it's like it is somewhat harder. I feel like in real life, like sometimes the machinations are weird, right? Because like you don't know what people's motivations are, right? So like you don't know why it is that somebody's trying to interact with you in the first place. With doing this online stuff, you can usually like kind of like weed out who people are and what they're doing and why they're interacting with you and like put them into like a few separate little spots, right? And then like you kind of like just develop like this bank of personalities that's like, okay, I know what lane to put them in. Um, and I noticed this, so I actually did a whole thing where I put all of the people I interact with online into a caste system of
What's my
5
cast?
castes. You're in the Island Boys, and it has nothing to do with incest, but
don't know
you
what that
are an
means.
island boy. Yes,
I don't know what that means.
It's basically like you hang around, but I have no idea where the hell you fell into because you're not like antagonizing me or anything, and you're not being like super nice to me. You're just kind of around and doing stuff, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, you're an island boy. You're out there on the island.
Okay.
I shit you not. I have a fucking Miro board. All right, I'll send you a picture of it. I'm not kidding.
This is what I mean by people being weird online. By the way, I don't rank people by who ranks people by a caste system.
This
with
isn't
their
ranking.
offline
There's
stuff.
no. It's not like there's a ranking. It's like a reasonable thing. Okay, it's an absolutely. I unironically think this is reasonable when you consider that I streamed for like 5 hours a day, and people are like, "Well, what do you think of this person in chat or this person?" And then like these creators,
Xena,
I'm
do
like, "Oh
you
wait, I
have a
put
caste
everybody into
system
that
for
shit."
people like Rezzi does?
What that means, I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, caste
I basically say people are in like specific little areas and
categories,
shit.
basically.
Yeah, little categories. Yeah. Yeah, here, give me a second, Wick. I'll send you a picture of the Island Boys thing. But yeah, it's just like you're kind of like the neutrals. You're just like you're here. I'll send you a picture. But yeah, you are in it's literally like
Yeah.
that's the title of
A
it. It's
caste
called
system, just for everyone's edification, if you might not know, a caste system is like a ranking system. You have the top tier people, and then you kind of have the lower classes, and they're basically what purpose they serve in the society or in relation to you. So you
well,
might
it's
have a caste system. To take the Island Boys off as an example, you may have a caste system like these are people I hang out with, these are people that I use for content, these are people that I hate, right? That would be a caste
Mhm.
system, sort of.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah,
I?
so like it's not actually a ranking cast. It's just like different people that do different things. So there's people that do memes around the stream. There are people that are like positive. There are people that are mean. There are people who are trying to be mean but are kind of like they really suck at it. They're not good at it. Like Grackle. Grackle's a great example of that. He's one of your chatters. I stole him from you. Anyway, so yeah, like that's what the system that I made. I sent you a picture of it.
I
I will
see.
be
It's
adding I add
this
everyone I
this
need to it.
is like I was worried that you were too normie for this stream, but after seeing this,
Uh,
yeah, you have just enough mental illness to justify being here, Rezzi.
Okay,
Welcome.
so here's the thing. It's not that I have mental illness. It's that I have a lot of tools that allow me to graphically display my way that I categorize things in reality, and I can finally show that to the world. So I'm finally happy because I can communicate now. And that's based.
I don't know how to respond to this.
I talk in graphs, dude. Do you understand how many graphs I have? It's a problem.
Yes, it is. But yeah, I don't rank like who what like
This isn't a ranking thing.
it's I know it's not
It's
a, you
like
say it's not a ranking. I don't categorize people like this. Does anyone? Am I the odd man out here? Is anyone
You
else putting people in the fucking
everyone
categories?
compartmentalizes people.
No, I don't
Everyone
really.
compartmentalizes people. You meet somebody at the fucking gas station. How do you talk to them? You've never met them before. It's just some random gas station somewhere in the middle of nowhere. How do you talk to them? You talk to people at a gas station the way you talk to people at a gas station. That's why when you go on a date with somebody and they treat the waiter like shit, you know what they're doing. They're going ahead and interfering with the societal bonds that we have in the first place. Yeah, we do this. We compartmentalize people 100%.
How do you talk to somebody at the gas station?
I don't fucking know. I usually say hi. Hi.
How does that fundamentally differ from meeting anyone anywhere else?
That's why I was asking that question, because
I'm saying is it's compartmentalization. I'm just graphically displaying compartmentalization to you.
Well, actually, it's more like categorization. Oh fuck, my VTuber's borking out. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's just borked like that. Sorry. But yeah, you're describing like categorization though. Our brains do that automatically. Yeah, to some extent. It's just that you actually make like a spreadsheet of it too.
100%. Yeah, I'll share it. I'll share it with you guys. I don't care.
I feel like I need to put these headphones on.
Do what you need to do, Xena. Like while she's messing with that, Fairyqueen, do you do this?
Do I do what?
Do you have categories of people that like? Here are my categories of people that I've interacted with.
I mean, I don't know if I have an exact system. I don't know if I graphically play it, but yeah, no. But of course, what Rezzi says is true. Like we do, like think of people in different ways. Like these are my friends, these are my best friends, these are my acquaintances, right? This is my family, right? Yeah, right. Like we do sort people in this way. That's a very normal way, I think, of categorizing people, right? It's just that it sounds like Rezzi graphically
just do it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like a fun joke, and then I just started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, my online interactions with people that I just decide to continue with happen in 5 ways. Yeah. I don't know. I think about things. I'm like, oh, I can make a graph about this. It makes sense. I'm sorry. I feel like this is how I've learned it. Like this is how I learn about myself.
It explains a lot. Let's say that. I will say that like I understand the categorization to an extent, but I feel like most people.
What about a family?
Maybe I'm just, if I may, maybe I'm just projecting here. Maybe this is something that only I do. Maybe I'm unique. Or maybe I'm the odd man out in this group. But while yes, we do family, friends, etc. These are very fluid groups, right? Like, and so people that I would interact with as a friend or in a friendly manner might not be my actual friend, right? Like, I'm being friendly towards them. I don't treat them any differently and things. But when they become my actual friend, sure, I might let them in on more and may share with them more and things like that. But this isn't like a conscience, and it's weird to make it. It's like breathing consciously, right? It's weird if someone has to be conscious of their breathing. It's weird to be conscious of your breathing. Is that making sense? Is that grokking with you?
Like examining yourself and trying to explain it?
It's not weird if you're underwater, Wick, right? Like it depends, right? Like it's like I think you could say that about a lot of tools that are given to people in therapy that they use to try to categorize or to sort out their life, right? Like the automatic knee-jerk reaction is, well, don't you just naturally do this, right? I think that some people though do need to have it explicitly spelled out for them, right? And so maybe like it is useful for some people to have like explicit tools and like that and like what is it? Like there's a quadrant. And I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, right? But like, what is it? Like it's like this, right? In the upper like left-hand corner, it has like, what is it? Like passive versus hostile, right? And then you have people like, does anybody know what I mean? Does anybody, nobody has any, it's called the, what is it called? It's called the something circumplex. It's basically, it's about like different quadrants of like conflict, right? And if you're in conflict, then both you and the other person are in the same quadrant of the circumplex.
Interpersonal circumplex?
It might be. Yeah, I think that is probably
Dominance.
What it is.
I feel like I need way more drugs for this conversation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it like dominant and submissive versus hostile and friendly?
Yes. That's the
Okay.
one. That's the one. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, so that's an example, right? And you would think like it's pretty obvious. Okay, if somebody's being really dominant and aggressive, right? If you want to not be in conflict with them, then you become submissive and passive, right? And you like just sort of become agreeable, right? That's what you should do, right? But some people, it is helpful to have that kind of graph, right? To have that kind of like illustration of what it looks like. So it just depends on who you are and like what's going on in your life too, right?
Well, let's take this conscious aspect of things, because that's kind of what I want to talk about today a little bit, is the conscious tools that we might have at our disposal to mitigate internet issues becoming real life issues. How do we do that? What are some ways we stop that? So Xena, you mentioned that you often have people's audiences come and try to stir things up with you. What are some ways you use to mitigate this?
You're muted.
No, you're muted. We can't hear you. Oh, well. Okay. Rezzi mentioned he doesn't care.
About what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, take your time. I just it's
Well,
hard to make people not care though. That's like
Well,
in
no,
the transition from caring and not caring, what are some ways we can mitigate
Yeah,
this?
so I think that this is probably like the one thing that I think I'm actually really good with, right? One,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll finish. I'll do it quick. So one of the things that I do is I just do the shit that I want to do online. That's it. I don't force myself to overly do things that like stress me out too much. And if I'm like, because I do like a lot of newsy shit, I just don't do it. I don't have any interest in doing like things that involve, grape or something like that, right? I just don't feel comfortable about it. I just avoid it. It's my stream. I get to do that. If somebody complains, I send them to the void. You taught me that, Wick. You taught me how to kill people. And so that's like kind of what I do with that is like I kind of push people away. I say to myself, what do I want to do? And then I go stream and do that. When it comes to like managing interactions online with people, I just kind of am like, hey, I need a little breather here. Leave me alone for a bit. And then if they don't, I tell them to go fuck themselves. And then I block them for a little bit. And if they don't talk shit on me for a little bit, then I'm like, cool, great, awesome. And then like I kind of do the same thing in real life. I just tell people fuck off. Because yeah, like sometimes I just don't really feel like interacting with somebody. That's just kind of it. I've known a lot of really shitty people in my life, and it's kind of great to tell them to fuck off.
Now that we can hear Xena, did you have any answer to this? Anything you do personally to keep people?
And you,
When audiences and people online come at you, right, and try to stir shit and try to get you to react, bait you into things, etc. What are some tools you have to mitigate that? How do you stop that from fucking you up?
I go in it. I go for it. I
Sure.
usually go for it. Yeah, like I go for unless it's like incel. Okay, you're on Twitch. I can't say that. Unless it's like like those types of people that are way too obsessed with me in the hate sense of like my sexuality or me being in sex work, whatever. Those ones that constantly make Reddits, those ones I ignore. But like if it's people in the chat coming and spamming and talking their shit, like I'll just go back with them and be degenerate because it's fun.
Yep.
And then like it's fun to argue every now and then, but then if it gets to that point of like they're just like overly parasocial and like stalkery, it's like okay, yeah, I just block them.
When does that line cross from overly parasocial for you? Because I've seen you fight many a time, right? So when does it come to the point where you're like, nah, I'm blocking your ass?
If they're constantly talking about like my OF, like okay, I obviously it because I myself am distributing it. Like hello, I know what the fuck I'm doing, or they talk about like me being a stripper. Like I obviously you guys know I'm a stripper because I put that information on the internet myself. Or really, I only block people now. Like I don't even block them like when they post back like porn videos of me. Like even on Twitter, I just respond, damn, that shit look good. Like I've just been doing that and getting more baits for subscribers. But like if they come in there and they like just start talking shit about someone I care about, like if they're in there talking about like Darius or something, I just block them. Like I'm not gonna sit here and
No.
do that. Like, I just ignore that.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if going in, I don't know. I get, for me personally, right? I get caught up a little too much, right? I get caught up if someone, so I don't have that ability that you do to just go in and separate it as much. If someone comes at me personally, it's personal to me, and I have a hard time kind of weeding that out. I don't know. What do we think, Anna?
Do you think you have like
Um,
anger issues by chance, Wick? Like,
What
cause
do you
like, I
mean?
mean, if it's anger
Like,
issues, I've had a lot of anger issues in my
it's
life that
like people are always gonna try to hit you below the belt anyway. Like they're gonna come for something that they think will trigger you. Like I get people spamming all day, or they'll spam me even now. They'll be like, "Oh, you got, oh, you got pumped and dumped," or something like that. And it's like they don't know what's happening privately off the internet. Like they don't know, and it's not their fucking business to know. And I've made the mistake of making it people's business before. Now it's like now I would just laugh. Like, "Oh yeah, I did. Okay, yeah, that's what happened. Oh, okay, yeah, sure." And like that's it. Like that's a personal attack, but I'm not gonna argue with a fucking nobody on the internet with a fucking anime picture that's probably 230 pounds of fat lard and lives in their mom's basement talking about a relationship they don't know anything about offline or what's going on. It's fucking pathetic. Like, why does their opinion matter?
I don't know.
They can't even get a bitch.
True in many
mhm.
cases. Um,
Yeah.
well, what are some other thoughts here? Anger issues? I don't. Gang, do I have anger issues? I'm curious now. I'm thinking about it.
I don't think you do, Wick. No.
Maybe I just hide it really well. You don't know.
I mean, I definitely do.
The
This-
point
I
of
don't
anger
hide it very
issues is
well,
that
do I?
you can't really hide it.
I just yell at my chat all day. That's literally it. I literally the hyper hostility I think is like it's good shadow play for everybody involved. You know?
I will say that of late after October 7th, I have been on a little bit of a shorter fuse. I'll say that. Does that make me have anger issues? I don't know. But
I don't
I
think
mean,
so.
this is part. I think that's a good question too. Like, and not just about October 7th, right? But if something happens to you, right? Does that mean that you are developing like I don't know how to put this exactly. Is that a sign that you have that you have anger issues, that you have a pre-existing mental health problem, or is it just that this bad thing happened to you and you're reacting to it, right? Like I mean, this like it happens like if you go into therapy, like if your mom died, right? If a horrible thing happens to you, right? It's natural and normal to be depressed, right? And to be really sad and upset
Yeah.
about it, right? That doesn't necessarily mean though that you're struggling with depression. That just means that your mom died and you're grieving and you're trying to get over it, right? So I don't know.
Same thing can be said for like highly stressful situations that people find themselves in. They could be reacting to a highly stressful situation, basically, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they have like a mental illness or like sometimes the highly stressful situation could certainly bring out something, or it could trigger like a PTSD episode or something, you know. So, but yeah, sometimes it's the situation. Yeah.
maybe.
And not necessarily the person's personality, if that makes sense.
I just wonder, and
Like the way they are.
yeah, I just wonder how much of the internet is causing a lot of people to have, because Fairyqueen, you mentioned at the beginning that you think a lot of people seek solace here because they may have um, troubles interacting outside of these spaces. I don't know if that's the case. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of it, but I wonder how much is because of interacting in this space, like people who grew up on the internet, who again, it was just easy, and because they didn't have to build offline connections, they did not learn how to deal in a healthy manner with a lot of the stressors and the way people get hit. Because the way people, like, I think we'd all agree, the way you respond to someone coming at you online is probably different than how you respond to someone coming at you offline. I would hazard a guess that that's the case.
Maybe. Here's a question for you. Have you guys all seen the Boogie 298 documentary? The doc that just came out about Boogie? You guys know about that documentary? Do you guys know who
Yes.
Boogie is?
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it. It looks horrifying and amazing.
It is horrifying.
It's sad and disturbing, I would say. Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
And one
amazing it could be a bad thing too.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that 𝕵𝖎𝖎 talks about that I think Dr. Todd Grande talks about like halfway through in the middle, right? Is a thing that 𝕵𝖎𝖎 does frequently on his platform is he talks about trauma, he talks about, you know, having depression and anxiety. Like he talks about all of these things over and over and over again, but like the way that like the psychologist Dr. Todd Grande tried to explained it at least was that he does this specifically in order to gain sympathy from his audience, right? It's a tactic that like 𝕵𝖎𝖎 uses according to the psychologist, right? Like they even
Yeah.
had like an entire like section where they were like checking off boxes for like what a vulnerable narcissist was. And to be clear, like I don't know if that's true or not, right? It's hard to know what the truth of that is, but what it probably is true, right, is I wonder if it's possible if, you know, I wonder if how much of like talking about like I wonder how many content creators or how many people who are in these spaces where if you took them and if you plopped them in front of somebody who was a therapist, somebody who was licensed and professional, would actually say that this person is struggling with depression and anxiety, et cetera, right?
Oh, so
Like,
you're saying that
I
people are
think
using
you'd
it for
find a myriad
sympathy.
of other disorders, though.
You're
To be
saying that
honest with
people are kind of using this as a crutch for sympathy. Have any of you ever done that? Have any of you been like used it for content, your mental illness or your mental struggles?
The only reason why I have ever brought up like what I was diagnosed with this last May is because I've noticed that people will bring up the fact that they are on the spectrum or that they have had a diagnosis in order to accuse somebody else of being abusive or as a cudgel to get them to shut up when you're in an argument with them. Like that happened with you and I, like when we were in the debate with President Sunday and his symposium with religion, right? It's happened like with the Merck episode a few weeks ago, right? And it's something that I think is a problem, and I don't like to see that in these spaces. It's literally the only, and I suppose I came on today to talk content, but that was because you needed me. So that's what I would say.
Thoughts on this? Great, wonderful, awesome
Sorry,
discussion.
I'm just trying to
I'll be
process.
honest.
People
Yeah,
have
I know.
definitely people have definitely used like my mental health breakdowns on stream as content.
I've done it.
But
Like,
I've never
you know,
used it
like
for content.
yeah, like I mean, I watched the Dunkel thing when that one that happened and everything like that. But it's always like yeah, this sucks. Anna obviously needs help and shit. Like it sucks. Like I hope she gets help. Sounds like you're doing good. Like great. You know, like that's what all of that stuff is tinged to. And how you prime your audience is the audience you're gonna get. Like yeah, you're gonna have people be like, oh my god, look at this person losing their fucking mind. That and like just saying like God, who knows fucking what. But again prime a good audience and then you're fine, you know, and that's like kind of it. It's like you kind of like you
But
can
we're not.
control a community,
I
right?
think what Fairyqueen is talking about isn't quite that, though. That is a point I want to discuss. But what Fairyqueen, and correct me if I'm wrong, is saying that when people say, "How dare you say that to me? I have ADHD," or "How dare you treat me like this?
Oh dude,
I have
oh yeah,
BPD," right?
if somebody does a thought terminating cliche to me, I fuck off. That's another thing I do, because it's just a general manipulation tactic. Thought terminating cliches are basically ways for you to go ahead and circuit. If your intentions are to have a conversation with somebody, especially in this space, like the debate space and whatnot, and your intentions are to have a debate, and somebody's like, "Well, you can't do this because like I have this is like some cudgel or some crutch or whatever," then it's like that becomes a thought terminating cliche because it's not a response to the things that you have to say in the first place. So you just kind of dismiss them. I would actually say there is actually a cult deprogramming book that I could actually recommend for anybody that was interested on this. I did like a big long thing on it. It actually talked to me about this idea of thought terminating cliches. I will. I completely forget what it was called, so I'm looking through my notes right now.
Okay, well, once you figure that
Really
out,
be interested in that.
Yeah, thought reform and its means basically was a study of the Chinese Communist Party and its uses of brainwashing techniques as examined by researchers in the from the 1960s through the 1980s, and then I think written in like 93 or something like that. Really fascinating book. So yeah.
what's the most unhinged rumor that's ever been spread about you?
Any of us or Rezzi? Who are you asking? Or me?
To the panel.
Can I just tell you the most unhinged rumor like that I think has ever been told? Honestly, sure. I think like somebody accusing Kid Not Kid of beating his wife was the craziest fucking shit I've ever heard. And I think that everything is on that part. Once you start accusing people of crimes, it doesn't go higher than that. I think that's the maximum bar where it's just like, yeah, all this shit's like fucked after this, right?
Mhm.
Like once you start accusing people of crimes, I think that that is like a really fucking, that's when the rumors are no longer rumors and like you need to actually fucking lawyer up and get your shit to fucking together.
I can just answer your question, Wick. I mean, in real life, people spread a lot of my sex details with an X around. That's probably the most. It's not really unhinged, but I guess that would be the closest thing that I've got. So,
I have quite a few unhinged rumors spread about me, and a lot of them I kind of just like meme and go with it. Like, okay, legally, obviously, people can look up my track record. I've never stabbed anybody, but that was a rumor that went around, and I played with it too, talking about I stabbed someone before. So that's the rumor. And then there's even an unhinged rumor that I chased my recent ex around with a fucking butter knife when that also never happened when I have a real knife.
I did hear that
so
rumor.
incredibly sneaky.
Yeah, and that's also not fucking true. Like,
totally
if I'm
false.
that, like, I didn't chase anybody. I used a butter knife to unlock a door. That's it. But to chase someone with it, like, you can't. I mean, I guess you can use a butter.
When
like,
I
have an actual knife in my purse. I have a fucking. I always have.
When
blades,
I was 12 years old, and my sister was 11, my sister chased me with a butter knife, and I had to hide in the bathroom. So they can, right? She picked up the nearest utensil, and she came at me, and I ran, and I locked myself in the bathroom, so she didn't stab me. I was scared. But yeah, so
audio went.
Hello?
What the?
Can you guys hear me?
I guess my audio. I'm trying to explain in the chat that one of the unhinged rumors was chasing someone with a butter knife. And that never fucking happened because I have a real knife in my bag, all times because I'm a woman in Miami. And then,
why a knife? Why not like pepper spray?
I have pepper spray. I have a taser. That's what I'm saying. I have a taser. I literally go ever, and I had the taser with me too. Like, actually, I don't need to pull it out, but I have a blue taser, a big ass one. I've used it on stream when I tased this man before for content. So I have a taser. I have a real knife, like, and I have a pink pepper spray thing. Like, I keep myself safe. Like, I'm a bad bitch in Miami. I'm not finna get raped in these streets. And then the other rumor is that I went to jail for stabbing someone. That never happened. I went to prison for fraud. I never went to jail for any aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and that can be looked up and proven. But people are so dumb they don't do that. And then I mean with that too, there's another rumor that there's always rumors. I mean, the unhinged rumors or that even that I was like just who I mess with, like who I've been sexual with.
What's the most unhinged rumor you spread, Xena?
About myself?
No, about anyone else.
A rumor that I've spread? Yeah. I don't spread rumors. I always provide facts and I expose receipts. Like I don't do rumors, baby. I do. Okay. I will never go down as a liar.
What's the most
always
unhinged,
spread the truth.
What's the most unhinged fact you've exposed?
That there was a certain Muslim that was asking for drugs all the time, Molly and Adderall and shit like that. I did expose that. I've exposed plenty of rumors. Oh, I exposed a rapist before. I exposed a pimp that was pimping out this little girl that was like 16, 17. And that's how I got my Rule 35. Yeah, there's a lot, honestly. But it's always facts. I like to bring facts because then I can say, Xena, I always come with receipts. If I can't come with receipts, then it doesn't work.
I guess so.
One time, while beefing with an ex, I did go, ha ha ha, that's why I have herpes, bitch, on the internet. So I spread a rumor that I had herpes. And he was freaking out. And then obviously then I posted my receipts, like my health check, and I have never had nothing. So, but it was funny. It was pretty funny. Oh, and one time I spread a rumor. I did spread a rumor too that I had fucking AIDS before too. So I've spread rumors on myself to harm others, in a sense, if that makes sense. Because, like, obviously, if I was sexual with this person and I had AIDS, then nigga, you got AIDS.
Sense. What did they? what led I gotta ask. I'm sorry, Anna, but I know it's your turn next, but I gotta ask. Xena,
Okay.
why? Why did you spread the rumor? Like what did this person do that flipped that switch that you thought that was okay?
Okay, well, the person that I'm talking about was physically beat the shit out of me.
Okay.
Because I broke up with them and didn't want anything to do with them, and then I was texting someone else, not even sexual, but texting a friend that happened to be a guy, and he called me bae. Like he was like, "Okay, bae, whatever you need." And this guy snatched my phone, was trying to do all this shit. That's where the alleged stabbing thing went down. Um, but yeah, like I had to spread that rumor because it was like I know I don't fucking have it, but like who cares if other people think I do? Like it doesn't affect me because I know I don't have it, but it just makes us all look crazy. And then he was freaking out, his baby mama was freaking out, and everybody that he'd been with was freaking out, like, you motherfucker, you gave me AIDS, and like it just caused hell for that person. And I was just
Have you talked to like you said that the DGG helped you or you're in therapy now? Is that correct?
this was back in 2018, twenty
Okay.
nineteen. Yeah, this was yeah.
Okay. But you are in therapy now,
Mm,
right? You're
yeah.
actively pursuing. Okay, just making sure. Okay, Anna, what I don't know if you can follow that, but go ahead.
I can't beat that, Xena.
Oh, I think you can. Not just playing.
Yeah, the most unhinged rumor about me is that I stalked Destiny. I'm apparently a stalker. Well, I don't know which one is worse though. Either like that I supposedly stalked Destiny or that I supposedly tried to break up him and Melina's marriage. I don't know which one is worse, but
Those are
yeah,
both
that's
pretty
the
bad.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are both
I
very
think
bad.
the stalking one's illegal.
I don't know.
That
Yeah.
was I can have that. I have that rumor about me too, because someone went to take legal action and thought that I was stalking them because the internet said I was stalking them, but I was in Arizona with the love of my life. So that's a unhinged rumor that I was stalking some fucking cuck I don't give a
So
fuck about.
so I have some
I got that
chatters.
rumor too.
I have some chatters, Zena, saying that you're lying to me. They're saying that you said you left therapy. Is this true?
Just earlier before joining the stream, I said, fuck this. I'm not going back to therapy. Did I actively actually already leave therapy? I mean, I've been through 5 sessions. Only 5 sessions so far, but like
Okay.
I literally just said that before joining your stream when I was being unhinged, ranting on my page to
What's your
get my chat
experiences with
hyped up.
therapy? What's your experiences, good or bad? What do you think of it?
Yeah, pretty bad, but now it's like
Yeah,
kind of decent, but
it
pretty
gets
bad.
better.
It
It
led me
takes a
to it
while.
led me to self-harm. So, like it made me think I was crazy and all
Yeah.
this shit and like it just psyched me out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's like weird getting into it, and then like I'm always interested if you're like newly going through like therapy and stuff. It's super weird when it starts out. So
Yeah. Cause then, or like, especially when they're like trying to get to the bottom of root issues and then they're adding random shit that's not even an issue and then they have to assess it
mhm.
later on, like, okay, well, maybe, I could see where I was wrong there. And it's like, you're supposed to be my therapist. How are you wrong?
Well, I mean, it's
But
like they can't know you. Like they have to build
yeah,
some level of
yeah.
familiarity and shit. And that's like a good therapist. Like I got this like just weird dude that I see a couple times a year up in like this one rundown town in Pennsylvania that I've been seeing for like I don't know like 12, 13 years, here and there. So but yeah, like that's something that's like yeah, I've been in therapy for most of my life. So it's like, just kind of like offloading like the dumb shit and getting through it eventually just gets to a point where it's like, yeah, hey, here are all the things you need to do. And I think it's good. Once you start getting into tactics, that's when it's like, all right, cool. Tactics are
Or
like
just
cool.
drink Jack Daniels. That's kind of why I said earlier. I was like, do I
I
need therapy? I
I
got my
started
friend Jack
so
Daniels and I feel like he does a better job.
I did
Like,
that until I was 23, and then I got kidney stones, and then I decided to stop drinking because pissing rocks out of my dick was the worst experience of my life.
Ouch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I did therapy myself when I was in the military. Right, it was free, and I decided to. I'd never been to therapy before, so I decided, hey, what's this shit about? Uh, Overall positive experience, right? Overall positive experience. I think that yeah, like they said, beginning can be a little weird, and it is
Mm.
awkward. It's awkward as fuck, at least for me at first. but after a while, it's like, oh wow, this is really actually helpful. So yeah, I just encourage you to keep going. But I don't know. Anna, what were you gonna say? Or was it Fairyqueen?
Oh, I was just going to say that, like, it's kind of like the rumors that get spread, like it's it was very upsetting for me going through all of that, mostly because, like, I mean, I'm graduating from my master's program in like a month. Like, I'm in the process of getting I'm doing my master's thesis, and like, oh, thank you. And I'm going to be job searching to be a counselor. So it's like,
Are you
I'm
nervous?
still kind of worried that like those rumors could, like, I don't know, somehow like impact my ability to, I don't know.
Mm.
Like, what if you got clients that like look up your name or something, and like somehow they find some shit like, oh my God, my counselor, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
I have never, I've
But
never
wouldn't
looked
that
up.
be more relatable? Like if you're going through something and you find out that like your therapist has been through such a thing, because then they can relate more. Or I don't know.
this
Like
is true,
one
yeah.
therapist that I had, or I guess she was more like a psych counselor or whatever. Like she was telling me about like how she went to jail and shit like that too. Like she did some crazy. Like she was telling me her shit because I didn't talk at first. Like I was just sitting there like, and she would just tell me her shit, and then that's what got me to be able to kind of be able to chat with her
Yeah.
because I could relate to her. Like, okay, she gets it. She knows the struggle. That helped me. I don't know
Yeah,
if it would be the
sometimes
same for
that
everybody
does
else.
work. Yeah.
Well, you have a story to tell, I guess, right? Like, I don't
It's like if
know.
yeah, like what I'm saying, like if I came in and you were like my counselor or whatever, and like I came in because, oh, I got convicted of stalking or something like that, and I looked you up, and then I was like, so you're a stalker too? Tell me about it. It might help if you tell me your story, and then I'll be able to understand, like, okay, so it happens, and then you give me pointers of how did you stop stalking? How did you overcome this or whatever? Not saying you did. I don't know the lore. I'm not trying to trigger. I'm
Yeah.
just giving an example.
Right.
So I wouldn't really necessarily worry about that because there's people that would want to
Well,
relate to you.
I do know that, like, at least for me, like, even just like going to go see somebody and like talking about like what happened this past May was a big deal for me. And it's been relieving, but it's also been kind of sad. So, like, part of the reason why I didn't for so many years is that one personal dream of mine was to join the Peace Corps. I really wanted to volunteer overseas. I wanted to volunteer for 2 years. I wanted to go to a different country. It was something that I was inspired to do since I was like about in high school. But one of the things about going to join the Peace Corps, if you want to do it, is they have a pretty rigorous mental health background, right? So if you say that you have gone to therapy and if you say that you've been diagnosed with something, that's a reason why you can be like not allowed to go on, right? So by virtue of me like going, because it was something that had weighed upon me for a long time, and by virtue of me even talking about it here, it's basically like blowing that out of the water, right? Which is, I think, another aspect of mental health I don't often hear talked about on here, right? Is the fact that there are maybe some people who do want to have opportunities like that, who do want to be a part of the Peace Corps, right? Who do want to maybe run for a small city council like position, right? Who do want to be able to serve their community in some way. But because of the fact that they are willing to come on and to talk about these sorts of things, are essentially excluding that from being a possibility like in their lives. And that's something that I've worried about. I wonder if and I don't know if maybe, I know for me, like I also have really felt concerned about how I present myself online. Like that's something that's also weighed upon me because I am pretty new. I just got here in May and I've come on streams like on WhickTV in particular often, right? It's always been something that I've really worried about appearing to be um I don't know, like I really worry about appearing to be unhinged, right? Appearing to be mentally ill. Like it's something that I've always felt really worried about. And I don't know. So those are just some thoughts, I guess, on the subject. Another thing to think about too about this space that I think I wish more people would talk about. It kind of bothers me. There are lots of people in these spaces who are either mental health professionals or talk as though they are mental health professionals. And please don't misunderstand me. I hate Max
Mostly the
Carson. I'm not
second
on the
one.
whole,
Mostly the second
everything
one.
is like a cult or whatever bullshit, right? What I am saying is that it makes it really weird. Like I'm really actually really grateful, Wick, that you didn't invite like somebody like Not So Erudite on, right? Because it would have created a really weird imbalance, I think, for all of us to be sitting here and to be talking about like our struggles and things that we've gone through, right? But also to have somebody who's a professional who's going to say, you know, well, these are the statistics, right? And this is what it feels like to be you, right? I don't know, like that's always been a dynamic with people who are in the field that's always sort of rubbed me the wrong way. And that's just a personal experience that
Disagree, considering like erudite is a person that like when I'm going like even before my therapy, like that's where I was able to start slowly getting better. Is even now like when I have like a random breakdown or I'm having a panic attack or anything like that, I often call her, and I know I probably annoy the fuck out of her, but she's helped me a great deal. I think if she were to have been on this panel, it would add a lot more value to, not saying there's no value to the panel, it's just I think it would add a great deal due to the fact that if we're all on here being mentally ill, to have somebody on here that has that professional understanding of it and is able to, like, for example, calm somebody down who's ready to jump off a fucking balcony, I think that's really good.
My initial guess list, Pixie has some background in the
Yeah,
field.
exactly. I call Pixie too. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Pixie's been somebody as well.
So we
think that if
I think
I think
Anna
that if
actually has some background in this as well, unless I'm mistaken.
well, I think that if we're talking
Yeah.
about like experiences with depression and anxiety, and I think you're right, Xena, like maybe like talking somebody off a balcony, that's one thing, right? It's another thing, right? If say you hop like a rabbit and flap your hands, right? And it's incredibly embarrassing to go and to tell that to a professional, right? Who looks at you like you have lobsters crawling out of your ears, and it automatically puts you in like a really weird dynamic, right? Like not
She's not,
all like
I think she makes most people feel very comfortable to talk to in that sense.
I'm not saying this is anything against Kyla personally. I guess I'm saying this is mostly just comes from me. Like I personally don't feel comfortable. Like I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like I'm
I think
sharing like to the
I
idea
think
that somebody knows more about what it's like to be me and what it's like to live
but
my life
that's what I'm saying. Shouldn't it be there shouldn't be embarrassment from it then, because I think there should be some form of understanding and comfortability through it, because that's their profession, is to understand, to come to that level and have that understanding so that you don't feel crazy, so that you don't feel alienated.
I don't know what to
Let
say
me
to
take a
that,
stab
except
at
for
it.
that, like,
Let me take a
except for
stab
that
at
I
it. Oh, go
well
ahead, finish your thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say to that. Again, this is not a snide at like Kyla or any like person that is like a professional, like mental health professional. What I'm just saying, but I have met a lot of mental health professionals where, at least like, because I've been going to school for a long time, right? Where you go onto campus and you go into the local therapist there and you talk about, like, they're looking for people who say things like, I feel kind of depressed, right? I miss my mom, right? I flunked a test, right? It's that kind of thing, right? But when you go in and you talk about things that are not typical, right? You get to some of the weirdest responses. People get very uncomfortable and it's very isolating, right? And I guess, I don't know, like so that's something that's always made me a bit uncomfortable, right? Because on the one hand, I like that there's somebody who's a professional. I like that there are people who have this background who can talk about it, right? But I don't want to feel like because you have this background that you are up here and I am down here taking orders from you about what my life is like, right?
Yeah, sometimes mental health professionals kind of unintentionally end up coming off that way, I think. Yeah. It's something we have to be like really cognizant about.
No one,
Yeah.
if I might try, right, I may take a stab at this. No one likes to be psychoanalyzed, or at least most people don't,
I
right?
love it.
Oh, Rezzi maybe the
I
exception.
absolutely love it.
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's super fun.
The worst.
I mean, by someone that actually can, yes, but like by like
Yeah.
random like people like DGG or Red
Oh,
Pill or
I'm
any fucking space, when they try to psychoanalyze you and they have no fucking
no,
professional, yeah, then
I,
it's like, okay, you just sound stupid.
yeah,
Like, oh, you
exactly.
have BPD. Like, okay, I've been through professionals and I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, not fucking BPD. So it's like
Oh
that
my
gets
God.
annoying because they just
I
sound
think
fucking
every woman
retarded.
has like BPD, I swear.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of what's being kind of like picked at here. Is that there's a tendency for people, because we often have a lot of talks about mental health issues, right? We listen to a lot of people talk about it. We listen to experts in the field talk about it sometimes. And it can give us this unearned sense of we know what we're talking about, when we actually we just watched a bunch of content about it and we don't actually know what we're talking about. And so I think that a lot of people will come in and say, well, I heard so and so on this stream talking about someone who had very similar conditions to you, and they said that they had, uh, I don't know, ADHD. So you
Mm-hmm.
must have ADHD. I know a lot. I'm very smart, right? And I think that can come across as patronizing. It can come across as condescending. It can come across as dehumanizing. You have been reduced to a condition rather than a person, and yeah, I can understand why people would be like, I don't like that, right? Am I
So
wrong? Am I
too,
speaking
like,
Greek?
I
I
mean,
don't know.
like when we're talking
Yeah,
about
it's
like the different.
tokenization. Tokenization is dehumanization. It's not good.
Mhm.
If like you tokenize somebody and that's all you're going to look at them as, yeah, that's always bad. Yeah.
And it also doesn't feel great that somebody else thinks that they know, like, and this doesn't apply to people that are actually licensed and actually have some credentials, right? But let's be real, right? There are people that watch a lot of mental health content on YouTube, right? People that are not credentialed, that do not have a background in it, right? Who believe that because they read like a Wikipedia page on like what ADHD is, right? They are able to tell you whether or not you have ADHD, right? And I
Yeah.
think that there's also like a level of like, I don't even know, like a kind of weird kind of arrogance in that from a lot of people who think, and I'll give you like an example. Like this is something I didn't know, like before I went to go have my visit in May, right? That one of the reasons, like there are questions that you will be asked that are not internet questions that most people think of, right? So one of the things that I was asked of was, do you toe walk, right? Have you ever walked specifically on your toes? And I said yes, right? Um, that's not something that most people think of when they're talking about like people being on the autism spectrum, but it is a thing that they think of eye contact and they think of things being like too loud, right? And that wasn't the
Yeah.
case. Like for me, it was like things being really too quiet. Like I like things to be really loud and everything to be really noisy and lots of things going on, right? Another thing too that you can't fake, right, is how you behave like in social settings that they observe, right? So for me, it was posture, right? How I would sit, how I would stand, how I would hold things, right? Um, and so it just sort of really rubs me the wrong way, especially like for me, considering the fact that I feel like by virtue of talking about it and by virtue of getting it right, I'm actually giving up a lot of stuff to do it right, interpersonally, professionally, in order to pursue this, to pursue why, right? And there's a lot of pain associated with it too. So I don't know, like it makes me feel really badly when I hear people talking about like the online mentally ill girl meme, right? And there's an added pressure too that I sometimes feel to not buy into that, right? Because oh, you're one of the normal ones, you're one of the fine ones, right? Finally, there's somebody who's that's normal, right? When really that's not really true for me, right? It's not really true for just about anybody here, right? So
Yeah.
Maybe so. I don't know. It is one of those things where I have met more people who at least outwardly, right, are unstable than I have in real life, right? Like I one of the benefits to being online is you're exposed to different groups that you would normally not be. Like I would have never met any of you had I not been online, and I consider each of you pretty cool in your own ways. But at the same time, I do worry about the people who's grown up in this shit, right? Because the reason why it's good and I can have positive experiences here is largely in part is because I've had those positive experiences outside of here and I can compare and contrast the two. I know the difference because I've experienced the difference. And I just worry about people who haven't. I worry about people whose all their interactions, all their relationships, all their things have spurned or not
mhm.
spurned, but have spawned off of online interactions, and I think that could be a problem. I don't know.
It can be
Yeah.
too. Like here's another aspect about online discourse that I think needs to be resolved too. So have you guys heard of the book Why Does He Do That by was it London
Yeah.
Bancroft? Yeah.
Yes.
So one
Yeah.
of the he had a talk about 2 years ago, and he talked about like there's an online habit of when we're talking about people who are abusive, people who have engaged in abuse, right? There's a tendency to diagnose those people or to think of talk about those people as being narcissists, right? And this was a talk that he gave like a couple of years ago, right? And one of the things that he said within that talk that this is a really bad thing to do, okay? Because at least according to him within that talk is a lot of people there is okay you can have a lot of people who are narcissists who might be abusive, right? But there are lots of people who are abusive and who are abusers who are not narcissists, right? And you don't, in fact, at least according to him, have any mental health conditions, right? But if you go in these spaces and you hear about people like talking about like abusive personalities, right? There's a tendency to instantly assume that there is something mentally wrong with them, right? That you could diagnose them as having something, right? Which is the flip side of like this, like thinking that you know everything about them because you've read the Wikipedia page on like what what bad behavior is, right? And the flip side, and one of the consequences of that is that what bad behavior really is, the story of that gets mistold.
Thoughts on this, gang? Or we? I don't know. We're fishing. I think we're circling the drain a little bit. Rezzi,
Well, it's just, yeah.
I'm trying to come up with shit. Okay.
No, I get it. I understand. This was
I mean,
last
I
minute.
honestly just
My
think
initial.
that, like, I mean, if you like, I want to argue because I'm just like,
Then
if I don't
argue.
vibe with somebody, I tell them to fuck off. Like, why is there this like necessity? Like, everybody has to just be friendly with one another, right? Like, perfectly friendly to have like be able to be around and in other spaces with people, and at the same moment be like, yo, go fuck yourself, leave me the fuck alone. You're a fucking freak, and I don't ever want to fucking talk to you. Why the fuck is that like a problem? That's like, I think, something we do in real life, except it's like, if you don't go ahead and move past like being in high school and fucking college, where like your friends groups are dictated just by like the fucking, necessity of knowing who these people are, right? Then like, guess what? Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, this is just, the internet just allows for socialization to a broader group after you're in adulthood. After adulthood, everybody's working and boring and shit. They have kids and it's over. All right?
$20.
Like,
$20 from Lawson
there's
Harrison.
ways to assert healthy boundaries.
Yeah, but like
sorry,
the thing
Wick.
is, like,
No, we'll get to
there's
that
a way
after
to
I get my
do
money,
that.
gang.
Do
Okay,
your
let me
money,
make my money, and
whatever.
then we'll get to that. Promise you. Okay. And gang, if you have comments and questions and you want to chat, I've seen the subs in the Twitch. Thank you for those. Super chats. If you super chat me on YouTube, I will read what you say and either comment to the group or ask the group. So please, money helps. Lawson Harrison for $20. I had to search far and wide for a psychiatrist that was not politically left to suit me better. Is therapy, being a dominant left-leaning field, good, bad, or neutral? Your weekly per diem from your Mossad handler. Thank you, Lawson Harrison, for the $20. What do we think? Oh, well, first of all, to Anna about setting healthy boundaries, and we'll get into that. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you can set healthy boundaries and be assertive instead of aggressive. Like what Rezzi's talking about is being aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
but you can
Yeah.
also set boundaries and in an assertive way without
Yeah,
being aggressive.
and I think
Which
that
is
the thing
probably
is,
I would say that's probably better to be assertive rather than aggressive.
yeah, I just feel like when it is like, let's say you are friends with somebody who is like a very problematic drug addict or something like that, and you've met them and this becomes like a problem and you need to like actively assert a boundary, being aggressive is the best way to enforce the breaking of that boundary, for the 30th time. That's usually, I think, where I'm just like, yeah, I get aggressive, and sometimes I think I get way more aggressive online. It's more fun that way.
Is it?
So, yeah, way more fun.
I guess.
It's better to yell, but we should respond to this guy.
Yes.
It's neutral, but it's neutral indeed, but it's bad in reality because it sucks that right wingers can't find a therapist
Well,
that can help them
it's
cope
not just
about.
right wingers, and I wanted to expand this question because
He literally was responding to a leftist, like trying to find a leftist one, right?
But a lot of people, like a lot of men, for example, a lot of men have trouble finding a therapist that will work with them if they have like incel problems and stuff, right? Like a lot of incels can't find therapists that will work with them. Like it's a real problem.
Wait, what? Incels can't find therapists who will work with them? What
It
is
doesn't
male
tend
therapists, I
to.
think is what
Yeah,
Wick
it
is
doesn't
talking
tend
about,
to
right?
work. Like a lot of especially female therapists will refuse to work with incels and things like that because
Which
they
is probably reasonable.
Yes, I mean there are
Yeah.
reasons
Is
for
it
this.
because they
But
have is it because they might have violent tendencies or something maybe? I mean, I'm
a
just
variety of
wondering 'cause
reasons. A variety of reasons. I don't
because
have the report
in the
on my fingertips, unfortunately, to give you the full list
yeah.
there. But it
Oh,
is
okay.
something that is
Yeah.
been studied, that is a problem that is acknowledged in the field. And so
Alright. Yeah. I
exactly.
didn't know
So
that.
yeah, if we can imagine that happening for those, I can imagine it happening for people who are very right wing or very left wing or very religious or very non religious, trying to find a therapist that will fit. Xena, when you were
I'm not
looking, oh, go ahead.
sure. Sorry,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not sure because politics have no place in therapy.
Yeah.
Like that so I'm just a little confused
Okay, you say
about that
that
because the
politics
therapist
should have no place in therapy, but it would be hard, right? For like because politics, we all have our personal politics that affect us. That they
What does he
drive
mean?
how we
do,
act. They
yeah.
drive how we
What does he
behave.
mean by leftist? Wait. Is gay leftist to him?
I don't know.
Okay, because gay is
That's
leftist to some.
true, Rez.
Yeah, gay is leftist to some people, dude. So like, you gotta remember
Mhm.
that shit.
That's true, yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
But you will absolutely, if, for example, you have a therapist who is a big believer in Israel Palestine, for example, and they were very, very anti Israel. Do you think someone who had family was from Israel, right, at this time, that would be a good fit? I don't know if it would, right?
Okay, yeah, but then like, so you go to another therapist.
Well,
That's the point.
but that's a problem, right? If you have a lot of variety, if most people in this profession
Hmm.
have certain beliefs that would make you uncomfortable or make it so that you could at least have a reasonable fear that they wouldn't treat you fairly, it limits your access in a way that probably is
But
something we
that's
need to take care
yeah,
of, right?
but that's like that's the thing. Like you just sometimes you just don't gel with a therapist to begin with, though, when you go through therapy, right? And like if that's the
Yeah.
only person you can talk to get your SSRIs because you live in a small town with like one clinic,
Yeah.
yeah, guess what? Like that's still gonna fuck you up. It doesn't matter about the political leaning, but you get through it. Like that's just the
Yeah.
way at some point you have to make those decisions, especially in rural America, which is just yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Zena, you recently reached out to start therapy. Did you have problems finding a therapist? Like, how was your experience with that? I'm very curious.
I just like Googled for a bit, but then like I said earlier, like honestly, like it was maybe hold on, let me transfer that. Um, and then I was looking it up for a bit, and then I went to try it out and decided I had liked it for a bit, but then I'm just kind of like, for what? Honestly, I feel like the whole therapy thing was just what to make me a calmer person so that I don't fucking go hellbent and expose people and treat people like shit. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? People treating me weird, lying to me, manipulating me, and acting funky. Like, the fuck I'm gonna go to therapy to make their life better because it does nothing for me. So, you know?
Sure.
And I think the biggest thing about therapy, and I think what I always tell people, because I strongly recommend it for literally anybody out there, is just learning tactics, right? That allow you to go ahead, decentralize from things like learning what spirals are, how you can get into them, so that way you can mitigate the worst of like, your a lot of your mental issues to begin with. And then understanding that, hey, eventually you can get somewhere with it. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. It's just technologies. It's little technologies that learn to help you cope with life and then, get it all figured out.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it's good.
coping skills.
Yeah.
$2 from Firechild. You can get your medications from your PCP. Fair enough. For personal
I'm
care
I
physician,
s
I'm
I
assuming.
still have an issue with the whole, like, I don't wanna see a leftist therapist because I'm just confused, like,
Go
how
ahead.
would you know your therapist is leftist anyway? Like, a good therapist shouldn't be, like wouldn't let you know that, basically. Like,
Yeah.
a good therapist would hide that stuff,
Lawson, how do you
kind
know
of.
they're
I don't know.
Lawson, are you still listening? If you're still listening, tell us. How do you know they're leftist? I guess one of the
Yeah.
other things he chatted was basically I want a mental health professional that's willing to tell me when something is clearly my fault.
You know, I will chime in with that. I understand to a degree what Lawson is talking about, right? Like, and I had similar concerns like this past May when I was trying to find one, right?
Were you worried
Because what I
about leftist?
no, no. I wasn't worried about that. Like,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, what I was worried about was that I would go and that it would be too easy. Like they would pass out like saying that this is what I had, like candy, right? And that like afterwards, like if the perception was that like they were just willing to just say, oh, well, you have this and blah 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 blah, and we're so accepting, right? That it would, I hate to say, but steal the legitimacy away from it, right? And people would be, and it would be more difficult to talk about for that reason, right? So for that reason, like I understand like wanting to find somebody who is old and somebody who is kind of a curmudgeon, right? Somebody who's willing to tell you like when you're screwing up, right? And is willing to be blunt with you when you're doing something wrong. Like that's something I think that is valuable in therapy, right? Especially depending on the kind of therapy that you're doing, right?
Sure. Okay. Well, we're kind of circling the drain on this. Do we want to take some callers and see if anyone wants to call in? Is that okay with everyone? Just a few callers and we'll call it good.
Go ahead.
Everyone good with that?
That's okay with me. If you don't mind, I think I'm gonna hop off
Yeah, that's fine.
if we're at the call-in section. Yep.
Okay. Well, in
All
that
right.
case, if you're popping off, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you if they want to hear more about, I don't know, what you have to say.
Sure. So I have a YouTube channel that I promise I will be posting to soon. And it's called Fairyqueen's Cottage. And I will go ahead and post that in Wick's YouTube chat now. And I would love to see you. Go ahead and give me a subscribe. And thank you all very much. Bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you for being here,
Bye.
and thanks for coming last minute. I know this wasn't. I had content for today, but we had to make do because the content didn't show up. So that's okay.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye.
Sure. Gang, if you were watching this and you want to call in, here's how you do it. You hit that Discord link, exclamation point Discord in chat. You click the link, you accept the rules, you jump backstage. We'll pull you in. We'll talk to you for a minute. If you're boring,
You know
we'll
they're
kick
gonna
you out.
call in and do some trolling ass shit, and
If
I'm
they
gonna.
do.
And if
Okay.
they do, just know I'm gonna
Okay,
spaz out. So and I know you won't
I'll yell
twitch,
at them
but,
with you.
we
All
will all
chatters are
spaz out
degenerate.
together. It will be
All
fun.
chatters are degenerate loners that need to be put in their place. I will yell
Okay,
at them.
do you want to be put in your place, chat? Do you want to be called a degenerate loner? Then call in, okay? Jump backstage. We'll pull you in. It'll be fun. It'll be great. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But hey, you guys got to call in. You can't DM me. If you DM me, that's not how you call in. What you do is you click the link, you go to the Discord, you accept the rules, and then you jump backstage. It's at the top of the Discord. DMing me won't get you on the show. It will do nothing, okay? It will do nothing. So stop DMing me. Just jump backstage. Cool? Cool. But yeah, Xena, I know we had a lineup. I just want to apologize again that didn't happen.
listen. You don't gotta
She sounds like
apologize.
she's having a good day, my guy. Like, let's be
Oh
fucking real
no,
here.
no,
I
I'm
just wanted
not.
to.
Oh no,
No? What
no,
happened?
no. This is when you see me like this, be worried. Be
Okay.
worried. If you're on my bad side, be worried.
All right. Well, I'm assuming I'm not on your bad side. So
Yeah, I don't know you, so you're good. But no, this is not a
I'm
good
assuming
day.
I'm not on your bad side either, I hope.
Oh no, you are. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, God.
Fucking with you. But no.
Okay.
So that's why I was saying, if they come in with some crazy shit, I'm already ready to spaz anyway, so it's fine.
It'll be
Give a
fun.
fuck.
It's fun.
It will be fun. It will be fun. But yeah, that could have been such a great discussion, but it is what it is. I hope we enjoyed the discussion anyway. Okay, we got our first caller. Let's see what they have to say. You are live, sir. Also, thank you for the $2, Cryborn. Good panel. Give me more money, gang. I need your money. I need it. I need it in my veins. Okay, Cryborn. Or I'm sorry,
Oh,
Isaac.
God.
Hell,
Go
I
ahead.
can't hear nothing.
Isaac, we can hear you. What's up? We can't. Oh, there you are. Okay, what you got for
I don't
us?
know why I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything? Well, that's a you problem, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right, get rid of me.
Okay.
Get me out of here.
Bye. Wow, what a
That's
disappointment.
what I mean.
Disappointment. Well, he didn't really spaz out. He was just unprepared.
Yeah, let's get some
You've had
people
him
up in
before.
here.
Come on. What are
Let's
you
get
doing?
some
gang?
people up in here.
What are you doing? If you want to put my Discord link in your chat too, Xena, feel free.
Oh, I could do that.
Okay, yeah, why not? Well, my people won't join and say anything crazy. I'd rather get some crazy people in here so I can spaz the
Where's
fuck
our
out.
crazy folks? I know I have crazy folks in this, right? I know.
I have one dude.
Mooncake, I know you're
that
going to
will
Prime
fake
soon. Call in
anything.
for like a second. You
Like-
don't have to be here more than like a minute, right? You
Wait,
can come in, say your shit.
Fuck. Copy link. Hold on, let me go
Oh,
post
here we go.
it and tell these people.
Mantis will help. Mantis.
Oh, you
I
gotta be
think this person
fucking
added
kidding
me.
me. Okay,
I think
yeah.
this
Wrong
person
Mantis.
just added me.
Great.
Mantis, you're live. Well, Mantis, hello? Hello? What? Beautiful, wonderful. 2 of 2, gang. 2 of 2.
YouTube chatter.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yeah, we can
thank
hear you
God.
now.
Okay, hi. You're live. We
Okay.
can hear you.
Yay! Finally. Gosh, every time I come on, join with my phone, it just turns to shit. Sorry. I just want to ask Rezzi about his systematic categorization of humans.
Oh yeah, for my
Is that
chat.
cool?
Now, mind you, they're like the ones that like get involved in my chat and like what they do in my chat. That's what that does. But yeah, generally speaking, yeah, I think some people are good, some people are bad. I have different reasons why I think people are good, and usually like I kind of do that, and I just kind of acknowledge that like yeah, like we do kind of have like levels of trust. And understanding levels of trust made me go, well, what do I not trust people about? I figure out the things that are secrets, why they're secrets, remove them as secrets, and then eventually, like, it's just the highest echelon that will get, like, the deepest, darkest secret that stays at the deepest, darkest point of myself.
I mean,
Yeah. I think I'm just like I can't remember who was saying it, but yeah, I think it's pretty normal for people to categorize and have like assumptions and da da da. But I didn't realize it was just for your chat. I thought you were doing it just for like everyone, especially because you put me in a category. You put me in a category a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I wonder why you put me in that category.
Wait, hold on. Stop.
Rezzi,
stop. Rezzi, stop. I'm very curious. So what category did you put Miss Mantis in here?
Mantis is absolutely not in one of these categories. But if I had to guess, okay, she would likely be in my chat category of antagonism cores, who are the people that are there simply to humiliate me and tell me that I'm fat.
Is that true, Mantis?
Oh wow!
That would
I would never tell. I if I am going to be antagonistic, which I am, you're right about that.
Yeah,
it's usually because. Hang on, it's usually not because of like physical features. I think that's cringe and like ad homs are boring.
So what? Yeah, okay, wait. There's beef here. There's beef here that I don't know about.
To this person, for fuck's sake.
No, I want to know the beef. Mantis, you're here to be antagonistic.
I talk shit on her. That's it.
What's your beef? What's your beef with Rezzi? Go ahead.
Oh well, I mean, we spoke briefly in a server, and he made it clear that I should basically fuck off, and he doesn't want to know me because he's already come up with an idea of who I am as a person, based off probably something he's seen, but definitely not based off anything about like
only
talking
your
to me
actions. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I mean, every action happens within a contextual situation, but I think sometimes you ignore context.
Yeah, I always do that. So here's the thing. I think that 99% all of your criticisms of people come down to you telling other people that they're mean, but not knowing how to tell them that they're mean, and understand that they're allowed to be mean, and you're just allowed to just fuck off from them.
Like who?
That's the difference between you and I. Like Speakeasy, actually. I think that like a lot.
So I think
also him being a hypocrite, but most of it was you saying that he was being mean, right?
No, okay, so that's one person, and because of my particular circumstances with that one person, I think I had every right to say he was mean, because he's mean to a lot of people. You can 100%. Watch his content and you can see how mean he is.
He's absolutely mean. I don't disagree.
Hang on, I'm not done. You talk a lot. Just let me finish.
I know.
Thank you.
Welcome, Bloodsports.
Yeah, I think there was a lot more to it than that, but if you want to reduce it down to that.
Not to cut this short, but I actually got to leave real quick because I got to get back to my stream for some stuff. Wick, it's always good to have you. I mean, it's always good to come on your stream. It was nice meeting everybody.
Me too. But thank you.
It was great. No, that's what I said. It was great to come on your stream. You can find me at Xena the Witch, Xena the Witcher. That's it. Just look for the psycho witch bitch that exposes people. Peace out.
Peace out.
Nice meeting you. Bye.
Okay, so
Yeah, no, I mean,
yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
I really, I mean, I don't really care what people
Yeah, like, dude,
think
we
or
don't
how they do. So
interact.
I was more. Hang on,
We
hang on,
interact
hang on,
in
hang on, hang on, hang
okay,
on, hang
continue.
on.
Just like make it brief, dude. Like, I'm sorry, I don't do this fucking long form shit.
I barely said anything long form. I'm very clear and concise.
I don't think you are.
Okay. I just wanted to clear up. I just wanted to understand whether the like system that you had in place was based on just like a brief clip farming sort of stuff that you've seen, and then you make assumptions, or if it was actually based on people you interacted with properly.
So, do you want my like kind of like why I started like actually making physical representations of this? I can kind of explain that. Have you ever heard of in Greek there's like 13 words for love?
No.
Like that are like kind of similar to like the English version of the word love, right? So I kind of like took in like a lot of those ideas, and then this is like a long while ago, and I just kind of like I read some stuff about it, and I'm like, okay, well that's what this is, and that's what this is, and then like I started like looking at even like the relationships that I have in real life differently, and this is even previous to streaming, right? Is understanding that there are just many different ways that we feel fondness and connection to other beings, and I think being conscious of why that is does give it like some level of richness. And for me, I don't know, it makes me appreciate it a lot more. I'm warmer, I think, to people now than I was when I was like pissy, with people. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I understand that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have we resolved it? Are we resolved? Are we good?
Oh no, we still hate
Yeah.
each other. It's fine. We can still fight. It's fun.
Mantis?
No, I don't hate. Look, I don't hate anybody. Hate is a very strong word.
I want Mantis to fight me wherever she goes because it's at least sort of good content then.
Well, tomorrow, actually, me and Mantis are going to be having a discussion on responsibility and what responsibility we may or may not owe to others in the streaming space. And we're going to have a fight ourselves. And that'll be at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So tune in for that.
Nice.
Mantis, anything else before we let you go?
No. Thank you for letting me on, and have a good stream.
Bye-bye. Isaac, you're back. Can you hear us? Wonderful. Great. You have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Kimi, how do you feel about being close to graduating? This has been like a long time for you.
Okay, hello, friend.
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, what do you got?
Thanks for now.
Okay, great. So my main gripe is, like, how dare you have, like,
audio shit.
Wow, you cut out. How dare you?
Okay,
I heard how dare you.
Oh.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. It's because I'm using. Is this?
What?
I don't know. I don't know. How dare I? How dare I?
I believe that today
send you to the void because
I believe that today is truly the day of like ultra leftist audio.
Maybe. Ginger, hello.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Thank God. What's up?
I sound okay. I'm not cutting it out like last
yeah, you
time?
sound fine. Yeah, you're good.
All right, so this is more like a pet peeve that I have of going to like a psychiatrist, somebody that says like right off, well, let's see what we can do to get you off your meds. That's like the initial way to get me to like fucking shut down in a therapy session is when you're like you're like, let's see what we can do to get you off the medication that you've been on for a while because you have this, and this. It's like, you really think that I'm going to get off this medication in 3 years because you're so good that I'm going to just not need it anymore for the chemical imbalances I have inside me? Tell me you don't know medication without telling me you don't know medication.
Yeah, that's really not appropriate, especially because
Yeah.
some people do just need to be on meds for the rest of their lives. I mean, it's sad, but like it's a sad thing to say, but I mean, it can be as it sounds bad, I guess I should say. It sounds bad and sad maybe, but I mean, some people just do. So that's a really weird thing.
Yeah, I like that's just initially like my huge pet peeve is going in there and having that happen. But a question for you guys is especially how do you guys deal with like not when you're having a problem, how do you stream and not like have that interact with your stream? Like, how do you not end up trauma dumping when somebody asks you what's wrong? Like, do you just kind of shove it off, or do you like actually tell them what's wrong?
For me,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
okay. For me, I normalize people not prying into my personal life on stream. So that's
Okay.
me.
If I'm like know that like I'm having like a really bad thing happen in real life, I just don't stream. I post a little note in my Discord, hey, I need to fuck off for a bit, and then I come back when I need to. I take time for myself, make that just because like sometimes that just happens and you just need to take that time. And that's just it. That's I think a big part of streaming is knowing, I think there's this perpetual push for everybody to go all gas, no brakes, but eventually you do kind of need to understand that you will need to pump brakes because you're a human being and you need to take breaks. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I was depressed, when I was like in the throes of my depression, I sort of dumped everything on my stream, and I used it a bit almost like I don't know, like
A session,
unhealthy
maybe?
coping sort of.
Oh,
Sorry?
okay. Oh, I was gonna say like maybe a session.
Yeah, almost.
Okay.
Almost like a yeah. No, it wasn't healthy though, that's for
'Cause
sure. Since
'cause
it was
I
just a lot of negative feedback and what were you
Right.
gonna say?
Well, I was just what I tend to do is like, if it starts showing on stream like what I'm dealing with is like I'll, life is fun type situation, and then I try to go back to it. But if people keep bringing it up, like I'll end stream. Like I'd be like, yeah, I
Yeah.
just, I need a little break, I think, and I just end it. But it's like I don't, some people kind of push through, and it's like I just get to the point where it's like, nah, it's better if I just like sign off.
$20 more
Yeah.
from Lawson Harrison to ask, what percentage of people medicated for mental health are lifers?
It depends on what what kind of mental health you're medicated for. Like something that is like, okay, maybe you have anxiety, but it's not like lifelong anxiety. Maybe it's just like you're going through some things or something like that. Or maybe you need like a mood stabilizer to kind of get you on base. But usually if you have like a heavy bipolar or something like that, like the odds of you being
Oh,
okay
yeah.
off your medication isn't good. But there are, like I
Yeah,
said,
same
there are
with like
things.
schizophrenia.
Yeah, there are things that you definitely need medication for throughout, but there are also things that that can be taken off. Like, they do that with anxiety pills all the time where they're like, okay, well, you can have 10 for the next 3 months, but then, we have to cut you off type situation. When I was first going through therapy, that wasn't a thing. They didn't cut you off from the Xanax, which I think is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I actually think that the moderation in the Xanax and Ativan situation, as somebody who saw a lot of people in the 90s, early 2000s over OD on that kind of stuff without realizing it is pretty bad. But anyways, like I said, there are certain things, yes, you can get off medication for, but other things is like, don't tell me I'm going to get off medication for something that has been wrong with me since I was a child. Like,
Yeah.
anyways, thank you for having me, Wick.
No problem. Hey, Ginger, it was a pleasure, and it was fun
And thank you
hanging out at
guys.
TwitchCon. So I'll talk
Yeah.
to you later.
All right, bye.
Hello. Hi. We can see you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. What's up?
Okay, excellent. Listening to this made me think, what is the okay, no, that's a better way to frame it. Is there because I'm talking to a bunch of streamers, is there a mental need for you three, and it seems like there are a couple other streamers here, to stream?
No.
What do you mean by mental need? Like, is it a ritual?
No,
for you?
I could. I'll
I
answer
think,
this.
Wick, you do this
Like,
to supplement
no.
income, I assume.
Yeah, I'm not a hobbyist. I want to make money
Right.
off this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it a job?
okay.
Is what you're saying, or is
Say
that
what?
like, is it a job?
Is it a job? One. which I don't
Like,
think. I think it
You're
is for some,
asking,
but not
do we
most.
feel a compulsion to stream?
Yes. Do you have to stream?
No.
yeah, I have to have a job. But like also no, I don't care if it's streaming. Right?
Okay.
Like it's like, yeah, like I have to have a job, like I have a compulsion to capital, but like yeah, like is it like the thing, do I enjoy doing my weird shit all the time? And do I derive more joy and pleasure from that than a lot of other like artistic endeavors that I've taken in my life? Yeah, 100%. If that makes me want to do it more, then I think that's reasonable. But like, is it a compulsion? Like I need to stream? No, I never have that compulsion. I choose to.
Kimi?
I definitely don't feel that need to stream. I mean, I don't really stream much anymore, so it's really just more of a hobby for me. Yeah.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like we're
You
talking
seem
about
like you
mental
have
health
wanted
and
to say
everything.
something. Say it with your
No,
chest.
no, I kind of do look. It's funny as a chatter, to be on the other side of things. It's like we're a symbiotic relationship, right? Where it's like
Parasitic,
one
but go
needs
on.
the other, or parasitic. Yeah, I mean, I was
You
trying to be a
feed
little bit
off us.
nicer
You
about
leech
it,
off
but
up our life force for your content. I get it.
yeah,
I see you. I know what you're doing. Like, when's the last time you've subbed to my channel or paid me?
that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is not symbiotic. No, it's parasitic. You are a parasite. You are a leech upon me.
Well,
You are draining the
obviously,
content and giving nothing back.
I'm giving you content right now,
Are you?
appearing on your stream. Absolutely.
Go ahead. Give us content.
I,
Come on, content boy.
I'm getting there.
Dance. Give us
I
content.
think it's interesting having a discussion about mental health with streamers, because there's no real bar to talk about. There's no experts here, right, about mental health in the streaming world. It's all pretty much just off the cuff. That's what I see, at least.
I mean,
And
there's some people who are probably a little bit more qualified who have some level of qualifications in certain things. Does this end up getting expanded out for some people that then like go ahead and denigrate the rest of it? But it's like, yeah, absolutely. But it's the same as saying there's no construction workers in the streaming world. There's no taxi drivers. Yeah, because people are doing a job that isn't those things. Often, right? Sometimes they translate from that because like maybe it becomes a supplemental, maybe something like works out here and there, and they're like, oh well, I have this grander design that I want to work through, and I'm gonna do that. Then it becomes more than just streaming, though, right? And then it becomes like qualified. So it's like realistically, like yeah, people of any facet should be able to stream, right?
I'm
And
not
then
saying
if
that.
some,
I'm
yeah.
more talking about like when we talk about mental health
Mhm.
and we're trying to listen to streamers about it. I don't know if that's a
Well,
great
the topic
as
was
an audience
how
member.
the topic was
Well,
how
I mean, like,
streaming affects one's mental health, right? It's
yeah,
how
like that's
Okay.
how
Oh,
so that's like how this
shouldn't
panel
that
was
be more of
framed.
a conversation between streamers and not one? I understand the
I mean, we're
entertainment
all streamers,
aspect of it,
so
but
I mean, we're all streamers though. Like Wick's a
I know.
streamer, I'm a streamer, Kimmy's a streamer. A lot of us have streamed in the past or present or going into the future. So yeah, I think that yeah, we're just having that conversation. I don't put a lot of I don't put a lot of gravitas on it, but only because like I think that I talk about tools that I use often to deal with it. I talk about my depression on stream all the time, but I talk about the tools and like I talk about things that I'm like, this is what helped me. I don't think this will help everybody. If you want, here's a phone number you should call.
Sure.
Right. And then like the tools are literally just remove yourself. That's one of them. That's my favorite one. Make sure you're drinking water and food. Like, you get to do like your general health checks to make sure you're not losing everything. And then
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah,
do streamers have responsibility? I don't know if you guys have talked
do
about
streamers
this kind
have
of stuff before.
responsibility?
Because I mean, it's clearly when we have like people like Xena or Merc or
Okay.
Darius, these people. I see them. I'm like, no one should take
What do you
this
mean, these
seriously,
people?
I think
right?
that's like the
When
point.
those people, I mean, people
Yeah,
who
okay, but
are
like I get that
mentally
that's
ill using it as entertainment. Like it's clear
yeah,
that that's
like
what they're
if
doing, and they're memeing, but then they meme too close to the sun.
yeah,
And
but
it's
this is
clear when
like
I see someone like Xena, it's like you know, she does all these jokes. I heard earlier about she was faking drinking alcohol, and all the chatters were going crazy. But no, I would never actually do that. It's like, why would I listen to you ever? Why would I trust anything you say?
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
People
though,
like that. I get that.
Okay,
It's
cool,
entertainment.
great. You've already made the statement. All right. Yeah, all right. That's how that goes. So here's the thing, right?
I can repeat
So,
myself if I want.
no, I know you can, but like I want to move.
But I will.
forward.
You're right. I will.
Anyways, yeah, cool.
Go ahead.
So like a psychotherapist, right, gets is an alcoholic, right? Or has some other, you know, gratuitous stain on their being that probably shows that they may not have necessarily the same qualities or qualifications. They may even be suffering from it, right? Most psychotherapists are people who are in therapy and need continued therapy to go ahead and maintain those degrees in the first place, right? Yeah. Do streamers have a culpability ethically? No. Just somebody that does have like some level of, hey, I am assigned to medicine, have a culpability? Technically, I think yes. Like there's ethical bounds there, but that's ethics, right? But just people talking about like their experiences, what works for them. Yeah, as long as they're not being pushy, who gives a shit? You know, like I think that's fine. If anything, I think just normalizing, especially men talking about mental health issues, is I think incredibly important because men don't talk about it because it's
with serious people though, not with people who are memeing.
No, even if you're like doing like a little bit of a meme, if a meme opens up to a bigger conversation, what's the problem, right? Like that's the thing.
Because it could be not taken seriously, and then
okay, but that's fine. Not everything
then won't take it seriously, and then won't seek out the help when
some
it is
people
serious.
So some people are never going to watch a bunch of people go ahead and bloviate for really long periods of time talking about like specific topics and like debate panels and shit like that. They're only going to watch people who are doing like lowbrow dumbass content like 𝕵𝖎𝖎 or Xena. 𝕵𝖎𝖎 always would talk. He would talk about his mental health shit often, right? Not that he had good processes to deal with it, but admitted even that he had it, which was, I think, something that was a net positive because, again, it's going ahead and challenging the nature of the game, which is that men are steel automatons that are expected to be those steel automatons. And if you feel, then you're defective. And
are you saying that 𝕵𝖎𝖎 is a good representation?
I think 𝕵𝖎𝖎 is a good
for men, so we can have the conversation about it.
I think that like 𝕵𝖎𝖎 like opens up the conversation for mental health about men in a certain way. At least in his old content, his current content, no. The current content is like this is like
where did he cross
this
the
has
line?
been the weird. I think it was actually so when he got banned from Twitch is actually everything literally gets banned from Twitch plus 12 hours. He has been on a fucking bender since then, and I have noted that since he got banned off Twitch. Plus 12 hours.
Yeah,
and it's like it's been bad. He was I'm gonna be honest, when he was on Twitch and shit and I was dealing with him, he was one of the nicest fucking dudes ever. Like and I mean that. Like I've seen how his community interacts with themselves. Yeah, they were actually they did, I think, a lot better than a lot of places. They at least got men to talk about feelings occasionally. So, yeah, it's weird, but like, yeah, he got banned from Twitch and everything went fucking nuts.
And he's gotten more money since then, I'm assuming, right?
Like, he's probably somehow making money. I mean, he's doing the stuff with 𝕾𝖎𝖎 now. 𝕾𝖎𝖎𝖙's definitely making money, and he's definitely gaining enough. That's the thing. Like John would have like people on to make money off of.
I want to toss this to Anna for a bit to see her thoughts. I know she was trying to get in there earlier, but
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, it's
sorry,
totally
Kimi.
fine. Yeah, it's totally fine. I actually wanted to ask you. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what your name is.
Me, Dorian. You can call me Dorian.
Oh, okay. Are you like a Destiny viewer? Or because you know
Destiny,
Darius and Xena? Oh, so you know who I am?
I've heard of you, yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. Someone who doesn't know about me, really. That's nice.
Why? What should I know?
Oh, nothing. It's just I used to cuz like you were asking about streaming and mental health and stuff and I thought, "Uh-oh, am I going to get grilled?" But no, it's just because I used to stream when I was like I used to be pretty depressed, and when I was pretty depressed, I would stream like kind of like my mental health episodes basically, and so it wasn't really it was definitely not responsible streaming basically. And so to what you were saying about streamers should be responsible, I think some streamers should be more responsible with their content, like people like me, because I actually am, pursuing a degree, like a master's degree in psychology. So I think that I actually do have more responsibility on the
Mhm.
platform as a streamer, which I try and be more careful of, particularly these days since I'm getting closer to graduating and everything. So yeah, I think I do, but I don't think people like Xena necessarily do. But yeah.
And it's because of the proximity that you might get a job doing this. Giving mental health advice to, or not advice, you might actually be prescribing
Yeah,
medication.
I plan to get a job as a counselor, so yeah,
Mhm.
obviously, like, I gotta be responsible with my platform and stuff because of that, even
Right,
though I'm
right.
looking like a weird VTuber right
But
now,
to
which
be
is kind of weird,
clear,
but
you don't think that you hold a responsibility to your audience or to the wider streaming space in general?
I do, yeah, I do. I do feel that way. That's
Okay.
part of why I won't go on to
Yes.
Kick.
Yeah.
Noted.
I don't
It's
It's just for me
metaphor.
personally,
That's
I don't
right.
expect it of other people, but I
Wait,
think I
aren't
have some responsibility.
I
Wick, are
agree.
you on Kick right now?
Am I on Kick? Yes.
No, no, I'm not.
Oh, I'm streaming to Kick. Well, should I have
Yeah.
told you that?
Yeah, he's streaming to
Uh-oh.
Kick, but I personally don't really wanna go on to Kick because there's a lot of, gambling on there, and I don't wanna,
Okay.
like, incentivize gambling addiction. Just a personal thing, that's all.
Interesting.
Okay, is there any other questions or thoughts you had, Mr.
No,
Pursuit?
I just wanted to judge you all streamer
Have
people.
we been found wanting, or
Left to be desired, but that's life. It's an endless pursuit. It's a good thing, okay?
bye? There he goes. Do we want to hold on? I'm getting a DM. I'll talk to you after the stream about that, Mono. But yeah, we have one. We can try the tornado guy again, then we'll probably wrap it up.
Yeah, sure.
I need to organize my Discord better. Your last chance, sir. You're live. You're ready.
right,
How
all
dare
right.
I? Okay, go ahead.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, all right, perfect. First off, how dare you have this panel without Lav? Right. Mental health and women in the space, you gotta have Lav.
Do I?
I think you do.
She
That's
was
pretty
on-
much it.
She was on with Smith. She was already taken. So
Yeah, she's streaming right
Yeah.
now. She too busy for me nowadays. I'm not clouded enough, I guess. If she wants to do
Aw.
something with me, she's welcome, right? We'd have to arrange it. She can reach out and I'll have her on. But I don't know. It's just I mean, she doesn't seem to want to hang out with me. That's okay. Anything else, sir?
Oh, that was about it. That was I just came in. It'd been funnier if I didn't have my gate up, so.
Would it have been? I don't know. Anyway, I want to thank both of you
yeah,
for coming by, for hanging out with me, and especially the last minute nature of this. I know this is kind of it went all over the place, right? I had a lot planned for the original guest list, but I couldn't make it work with the new guest
yeah.
list.
I feel like I think that I think we can make. I want to do an ending. I think that we can make mental health a little bit fun, right? I think engaging through art allows us to engage into like more of our imaginative selves, which I think is extremely fun, especially in a ways that I think makes it a lot easier for people to be able to tolerate these spaces, creative spaces especially. I think that if we look through history, we can see that artists are often plagued with mental disorders, many of them choosing to end their lives in one way or another. If that's what you're thinking about, obviously don't do it, seek help. But yeah, I think that this is just normal for a lot of people that are engaging with art to feel a lot of these things. So definitely I think it's good to check out therapy. I think it's good to just, I hate it to say it, I think it's just good to do the boring thing. It's good to go see the doctor. That's like that's about all I gotta
Healthy
say.
and fun. Rezzi, where can people find you?
Rezver, all platforms except Kick. Then I'm Rezzi. I put up a call that I had. It's a joke with Netanyahu, Joe Biden, and several other incredible figures and whatnot. I do a lot of funny stuff. I try to be a little bit more lighthearted than serious. But if we need to be serious and I get angry, then like I just get angry and it's bad. So yeah, we don't try to Hulk out. But yeah, Rezver, all platforms. Continue to not grate people. And also, Anna, it's good to see you. Take care of yourselves, okay?
Yeah, thanks. It's good to see you too.
Bye-bye, Riz.
Bye-bye.
Anna, Kimi, what did you think of the show? Any last thoughts? Any closing statements that you'd like to make?
Oh, just that this was a great panel, and thank you for having me. I definitely missed being on one of your panels in a little while, so it was nice to be back.
Good to have you.
they're always so good. They're very good, Wick. So
Thank you. For real. It means a lot. But go ahead.
yeah, and people can find me on Twitch at Kimi Marie. And Twitter is Kimi Miro. So yeah, follow my Twitter or Twitch.
Follow
So,
both,
yeah,
gang. Go. Yeah, thank you for the gift sub, Mid, to Kimi. I'm sure she'll appreciate it and use my lovely emotes. But yeah, I guess I'll reach out again and hopefully we'll have you on more. Cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Have a nice day. Pleasant panel, gang. $2 from Cryborn. Jokes are how some people deal with illness. Thank you. £7.77. So not dollars. £7.77. Mental health and content creation. Thank you very much, Sir Wick. In pursuit of knowledge. $5. Fine, take my money, you streamer. You're welcome, you chatter. Midori. Thank you for the gift sub to Kimi. Really appreciate you. Gang, yeah, like we got some stuff coming up. Let me tell you a little bit about it before we go. You know, I'm not done streaming for the day, right? I wanna stream for a little bit longer with you guys. A little bit of an after show, just me and you talking chat, because we gotta talk about what's coming up. We gotta talk about some of the things we got planned, what we got cooking for this week, and we got a lot of stuff cooking. We got some great shows on the way. So let me talk to you for a minute about what we have going on. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, to avenge her fallen comrade Lycan, who I was talking to last week. We had a bit of an altercation over the Israel-Palestine issues. He came on. He was a lovely opponent. Yeah. Straighteroid wants to come on and do it right with me. Straighteroid was not happy with how her partner performed and wants to come on and do it right. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, Straighteroid is coming on to avenge Lycan and to be the final boss of this. And we're going to be talking about who is a bigger obstruction to the peace process, Hamas or Israel. So we'll have to see, right? I think that Hamas is clearly the bigger obstruction. She disagrees, and we'll talk it out tomorrow. Also tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, so directly after that discussion at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Miss Mantis on, who will be talking to us about responsibility and whether or not we as streamers have a responsibility to other streamers, our audiences, and the space as a whole. Not only that's where we're going to start, but the basic question that I'm going to ask her, because we had an argument about this, but I'm going to ask her is very simple. Am I my brother's keeper? I think the answer to that question is yes, gang. I think we are each other's keepers, or we should be. We should, right? We do have some responsibility to those around us, to our communities, to the spaces we reside, to the places we work, the people we interact with. I absolutely feel that we have a responsibility in how we conduct ourselves and how we interact with the space, interact with ourselves and each other, and we can't just shirk that responsibility. So we're going to be arguing over that. So that's content. That's going to be great. Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be talking about STV Philly, about hatred. That'll be fun. The big one, however, the big one is going to be on Thursday. On Thursday, dear viewers, my lovely chatters, we are going to be talking to No Opinion of Twitter and Substack fame. I think he is the largest Substacker out there, with over 160,000 subscribers on Substack. We're going to be talking to him. We're going to be talking to Sock Done Left, and we're going to be talking to Brianna Wu about the leftist response to Israel and Hamas. It's going to be great, gang. It's going to be an amazing show. So tune in Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It'll be fun. And we'll have call-ins after, so you can talk to him if you want. A lot of people have had problems with some of his tweets on this subject. And so if you are one of those people, feel free to call in when it's time. It will be great. It will be interesting. And finally, last but not least, on Friday, we're going to be having call-ins with Tuna Chip, and that will be fun. That will be great. Gang, if you have liked and enjoyed this content, please, I could use your donations. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. Hit like if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Twitch or Kick, feel free to throw me some bits, throw me some subs, throw me some donos. All of that helps. All of that is useful. And I can't do this for free, gang, right? I'm not a hobbyist. I'm a professional. And I need your money to continue to bring you excellent shows like today's. Today's was a bit scuffed. We had to scramble and make something work. Unfortunately, my other guests had things that they had to do, so they could not make it. But the show must go on. And so part of my job, right? Like, what I do isn't just stream for you. I set these things up. I make these things happen. I put together this content for you, dear viewer, for you. And so if you have any kind of content that you'd like to see in the future, if you want me to see do certain things, reach out. Let me know. Tell me what you want to see. I'll try to provide it. And especially if you donate to me, the more you donate, the more I'll take you seriously on your suggestions. That's just a matter of fact. Anything else before we end? Mantis, thank you for being a YouTube member. That's another way if you want to donate to me too. You can be a member on our YouTube, and you can be an official Wicker. Mantis is an official Wicker. Are you? I don't know. You get a cool looking name in chat, like Saxon has. Okay. You can gift memberships out too, I hear. Yeah, is there any other things we need to discuss before we send you away, my dear chatters? Is there anything else that we haven't talked about yet today that we absolutely need to talk about today? Anything? I see you. I will pet and feed the puppy. Do not worry. That will happen. Let's see. I don't think just how cute I be. Well, I'm always willing to listen to that. Flattery. Flattery will get you everywhere, gang. Okay, I am weak to it. Portland is burning. We need to talk about my rage problem. Well, I mean, do I have a rage problem? I don't know. I don't know. I think that I do get angry sometimes, but I don't think that's out of the blue, nor do I think that that is like without reason or without good reason. I'm not just angry to be angry, if that makes sense. Maybe when you have an exposing themselves on stream, you should tell them to grab a coat, just out of respect for the other women on your panel. The real Mantis is here, and now Wick is still being stupid. Mantis, you are the fake Mantis now. Sorry. £2 and 2 cents. Can I hire you as an e-paralegal for a wee issue? I am a horrible paralegal. I will not do a very good job, but you can absolutely pay me money. I'll take your money. Mantis versus Mantis. Mantis on Mantis action. Hell yeah. So Code Matter, I think that they were very well aware with how they're dressed, and if that's how they want to dress on stream, who am I to tell them not to do that? I'm not that type. I'm not that person that will say that. If they were breaking toss, that would be one thing, but they weren't breaking toss at all. They just were wearing an outfit. They were comfortable in that outfit. Who am I to say otherwise, right? Who am I to tell them no? As long as it's within toss, that's that, right? If the other people on my panel had a problem with it, then we would have had a discussion on that. But they didn't. You had a problem with it. I don't know. So yes, Mantis Repairman, you are no longer the real Mantis. Mantis is the real Mantis. You are Repairman. You are merely Repairman now. That is all you are. That is all you will be. Mantis, the real one, is subbed to my YouTube. You are not. They are getting preference. You are not. And this will happen and continue to happen. Much like this happens to you in life in general. Probably people just, don't treat you how you feel like you deserve to be treated. Well, that's because you don't deserve to be treated that way. Like, you don't deserve to be treated well. You need to earn that. Okay, Mantis Repairman, Mr. Repairman. If you weren't such a schizo, if you weren't such a weirdo, if you weren't such a bad person, maybe you would have friends. But you don't, and that's okay. Why do you hate sex, Wick? I don't know. Like, I'm neutral on the subject. Wick, do you think all women should be in burqas? No, I do not. I think that women in burqas would probably be very uncomfy. However, if a woman voluntarily wants to wear a burqa, then fair enough, they may. That's on them. That's their choice. I don't tell women what to wear or what not to wear. I don't tell people what to wear or what not to wear. It's not just women. I don't tell men that either. Like, I didn't tell Rezzi to cover up his armpits, right? Or do anything like that. I just don't tell people what to do in general. I don't know what to tell you. Infallible foul. That's called giving the stream playback value. Don't make it weird, dude. Don't make it weird. Who else is streaming? Let's see. Prime Kai streaming. We can go to Prime Kai. I just got your DM, Rhinos are unicorns. Thank you for that. That was funny. We could go to Tiberius. We can go to Lactoid. We can go to Rezzi. You guys want to raid into Rezzi? No, Rezzi spent time on our show giving us content. So I think it's only fair to raid into Rezzi. Let's do that now. Remember, spam those emotes when you get there, right? Let them know that this is, in fact, a hate raid. And for now, I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.